Hello, hello, and welcome along to episode 36 of Sogravia, the Last Bastion. How swiftly times move. Last session we decked a fiend and left a Balor rotting in its tracks, earning ourselves a fiendish vigour feat. But today, alas, the journey must proceed. As you have, if you remember, you reached the bottom of a large mountain, up which was a single narrow trail, reminding you somewhat of the 7,000 steps in Skyrim, if you have played that.
Yep.
This winding path doesn't really have steps, so to speak, as it does sort of like flattened bits of trail. It winds around and around the mountain, and as you stand at the foot of the mountain, you can see it pass by the mountain 5 or 6 times before it reaches the clouds above. It is going to be a long, long walk, but you believe you have reached the right mountain. There is at least that. It is approximately 7:30 p.m. After your fight. Would you make camp at the base of the mountain, or would you proceed up a little way and then camp as and when you get up there?
Is it dark out?
No, not yet. It's only 7:30. And although it's winter, you're fairly far up to north. It doesn't tend to get dark till about 8:30. You're approaching sunset, but you guys regularly travel while it's dark. The moon's in the sky. Will keep the day keep the ground fairly brightly lit anyway.
You okay, James?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Can we currently see the temple?
No. As you would know, the temple sits above the clouds. You can see where the mountain enters the clouds, but no further.
Wow. I'm fine to keep going a little way.
Okay. So you proceed up the mountain for a little while, along the trail, and after, I don't know, about 45 minutes, you come to a small stone cairn on the side of the road. This consists of 3 rocks on either side, followed by a large flat rock on the top, and in the crevice underneath is an everlasting flame. It's been lit, and in front of the underneath the flame, is a bowl.
A what?
A bowl.
Bowl?
A bowl.
Oh, bowl.
Just an empty bowl?
It is indeed right now empty. It appears to be fired of hard clay, so it's very durable. It's just sat there underneath the flame. And when I say underneath, there's like a gap like this. Right? So, like this, you could put your hand in the bowl. Eternal flame doesn't actually give off any heat either, so you can put your hand through the light if you wanted to. Yeah, it's just a little cairn, an empty bowl.
I feel like this probably has some, I don't know, religious significance or something.
Yeah, that's possible. Go ahead and give me a religion check, see if you can remember anything about it.
I would guess it's
Sure.
requesting an offering. You want to use the flame.
That is a sound offering. If you want to use the flame, what does that mean?
23.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, no specific god is ascribed to the Cloud Temple or the mountains here themselves. But various different people worship a different god of light. And all those people are associated with this. So whether it is the giant god of light themselves, whose name won't come to mind, whether it's Lathander, the Aasimar god of light, whether it is the halflings, Vasareli, I think it's called, the halfling god of light. Various different races worship different gods of light, but in all of their worships there is often this sort of token offering bowl. There isn't a way of taking the light, as perhaps Ashrin suggested. There is instead just the opportunity to offer something to the god before you continue along the path.
I'll throw a coin in there.
Okay, of which denomination?
A gold piece.
A gold piece. Okay. You put a gold piece in the bowl, and for a moment the flame burns blue. And then it once again returns to yellow, and you will see that your coin has disappeared.
I'll
That's
put a
probably
gold
fine.
coin in there.
Okay, same thing happens
Okay.
to you. Flame goes blue, flame goes yellow, coin disappears.
That feels good.
Does it seem like we could put a torch in it while it's glowing the different color?
No. No, it
Okay.
doesn't at any point become a real flame. It is simply it's like an illusory light, effectively. It gives off.
Wait, what if we just keep throwing money at it? Will it keep changing colors?
It'll keep
Probably.
going blue and back to.
Try a
yeah,
silver
it seems that
coin.
way.
I'll throw a silver coin in there.
Okay. Nothing happens. Coin stays where it is.
Ah,
Oh, okay. I see you bougie ass gods.
it doesn't like that. How about copper?
Do you take the silver coin out to put the copper coin in, or do you put the copper coin next to the silver coin?
Oh, how scientific. I'll put it in while the silver's in there.
Okay, nothing happens.
God damn it.
We'll put a platinum coin in there.
You don't
With all
have
these
platinum
in?
coins in this world.
Damn.
Okay, remove
I'll
the
put a-
silver and leave the copper.
Nothing.
Okay.
Alright.
Bougie ass gods, fine.
I'll take the silver back and add 8 more silver.
Okay, but do you add it
I
all at
love
once? Ashram? Just let it go?
Yeah, for a total
Okay.
of 9.
The light burns blue and then burns yellow again, and the first coin to hit the bowl is consumed, and the rest are left in place.
Oh.
What?
What does
Okay.
it mean?
Well,
Just play with this
go,
all
go
day.
ahead, go ahead and give me an insight check.
This is getting me very mad. I might need to rage.
That's a 15 to incite the rock.
Yeah, there was the first coin that you placed in the bowl. Just like the gold coin was the first coin that
Oh, okay.
Each of
Glacius
us should put an
and-
offering.
Callum put in. Yes, it doesn't necessarily seem to care the denomination of the coin, it just isn't accepting anything after the first coin.
Wow.
Zavril, you should put something in for good luck.
Several. Put a coin in.
Toss a copper coin in.
Yep.
Wow, cheapskate!
Yeah, it burns blue.
Yay.
It burns yellow. Coin disappears.
Okay.
Here comes Sullivan with his entire life savings.
Science.
I was about to ask Sullivan and Obi, do you guys want in on this?
There's no point putting more than one in, right?
Obi will put a single copper coin in.
Whatever denomination, it's only going to take 1 coin.
Yeah, exactly. And unfortunately, I don't have any platinum
We don't do platinum coins.
coins. So I will put in a gold coin.
Okay. So now that each and every one of you have given a coin, nothing seems to have happened. It's gone blue, it's gone yellow. And I'm assuming there's nothing more you're doing with this bowl.
I guess not.
Take-
Good, okay. No, you can try with the world's greatest strength check. It doesn't move, it doesn't budge. It doesn't appear to be fixed to anything, and yet no matter how hard you pull, it doesn't move in the slightest.
What if we cut the ground around it and then pick it
Sovereign
up?
It's not touching. Like, it's just sand on the ground. It's not attached to anything. You could dig out underneath it and it'll just float.
Whoa.
But
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's
It's
permanently
like
in place.
Mjolnir.
Yes, exactly. And nevertheless, as you go to walk away, you feel a slight warmth fusing all of you.
Ew, gross. I hate it.
10 temp HP to a lot of you.
Ooh.
Yay!
And you will notice your vision feels slightly sharper. Does anybody not have dark vision at all? You got 60 feet down.
Hey.
I technically don't. Wait,
Yeah.
Where's that? Oh, no,
Anybody
I have a
who-
ring of dark vision.
Anybody who has 60 feet of dark vision will just feel that their sight is a little sharper than usual. Anybody who doesn't have dark vision will have 60 feet. Anybody who has above that will have experienced little to no change.
Oh, cool.
Well, that was pointless. What a waste of money.
Alright.
You only put a silver in, Astrid. I don't know what you expected. You don't
When I
get
say
the
your
good
vision feels a
buff.
little sharper, you get the impression that perhaps if the DM was to ask for a perception check, it might be at advantage. So it is doing
Forgiven.
something. But yeah, it's just at the
Actions,
moment.
it's forgiven.
At the moment, it's not doing anything specific. Yeah. As you proceed on up the mountain path, you go for about an hour or so, and you come to what appears to be a small clearing. It's a bit of ground that has been obviously flattened, and in fact there are 2 or 3 large stone slabs in place. At the center of this stone area is a brazier. I've just noticed we're not on the mountains. Let's go to the mountains.
That might help.
Well, maybe.
Just
I
look
My
at that
immersion,
photo.
James.
Yeah, your immersion. There you go. You've never seen these mountains before. Let's go there. Oh, we love this mountain.
Have we
Interesting.
actually?
Yes.
Totally
Oh my
new
God.
mountain.
There are any rangers
These
in
remind me
range?
of the Gauntlet.
Yeah. But anyway, there's a flattened area. There's a single brazier at the center. It doesn't appear to be lit at the moment, although it does seem to be stocked with wood, wood chippings to allow you to light it if you wish. There is a small sort of skewer and 2 props that were placed to the side of the brazier. You could use these to cook over the fire once it was lit. It affords you a nice view out over the foot of the mountains, and it appears that
might be
many, many different people have camped here in the past.
And many people have also died here. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah,
This is probably a good place.
Okay. Yeah.
Rory to buck tradition.
It would seem the logical place. The thing is that the rest of the path can be quite narrow and winding, and there isn't really a flat space to put your tent. And you do have quite a fabulous tent.
Oh, we
so
do
it's
have that
probably
fabulous
worth using. You do have a fabulous
do
tent.
we?
It has a kitchen.
Yeah, it has a gun.
It does. It does have a gun though.
It has a gun.
Damn it! Yes.
The
Feel like
final
I missed something.
fight, we'll pull out the tent and we'll go in there to grab
Oh
There it
my
is.
god.
There it
We've
is.
been saving this.
Chekhov's gun.
Exactly.
Oh yes.
I am going to open that image and delete that gun and replace it at some point, just to be done with it. But anyway, yeah, looks like a good place to camp.
Let's camp.
Just don't
Let's
delete the
camp.
tent cat. It was there.
I like to imagine the cat in the tent is like a little friend that just lives. Like it's like a Pokeball for it.
Yeah. But as you guys all go into a tent and get yourselves relaxed, Glacius is cooking dinner, I assume.
Yeah.
Today I'm not going to ask you for a recipe. I'm just going to say it's quite simple. It's meat, it's potatoes, it's bread, it's food.
Good, because I don't have anything ready.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yay.
Because it's just your evening meal, and you'll get that out the way. And I'm assuming you'll set a watch of some sort.
Yep.
To keep watch over the mountain.
No, we just decided this place is perfectly safe.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the.
I trust this place.
Yeah. But you assume
I
that you're
get the
somewhat
gold
okay. Over the course of the night, anybody who is keeping watch will spot one large flying creature circling overhead. It's extremely large. You have seen this thing before. It left you alone for quite a while. This bone-esque dragon flying vastly high in the sky.
The Lich Dragon.
But it's back
Oh.
watching you again. Yeah.
More context, yeah.
Oh, it's this bastard.
You don't notice. You're busy making a con save.
No. Go to bed, Zapro.
Give me a con save, Savile.
He's just sitting in the corner of the tent. Like, don't bother me. I'm busy.
I'm making my
Don't
con
bother
save.
me, I'm dying.
I'm trying to survive life. I rolled a 2.
Oh.
Can we just say that Zavril sleeps with Sullivan so he can get his +5 water protection?
At all times.
Even with his +5 protection, he has failed. Yes, once again, Zevil, you will lose 5 to your maximum HP, which will be replaced with your temp in the morning. As the shadows are bringing you down. No, he's not going down at all yet. We've got to wait. But anyway.
Okay.
Sure,
Alright,
we can sing that when he dies, alright?
Okay, alright. Fair.
But in the meantime, 5 more to your max HP reduced. And in the morning, you're all able to freshen up. What's for breakfast, Gracious?
Alright, so I start preparing. Unfortunately, I because this is my first session playing since Jay's been gone. So Glacius starts to make his like morning salad, but then remembers that Jay's not, or
Oh.
Fox isn't there, and he gets a little sad. But he continues to prepare everything else. There is scrambled eggs with some like peppers and like potatoes and like little bits of bacon in there as well.
Nice. Like a proper, just a big bowl of scramble.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds
Yum.
nice. I could have that right now. Yeah, with that, give me a cooking check.
Alright, I'm using my new dice. It's been rolling pretty well, so. Alright, that's only a 15.
15's good. Well, not really. 15's not very good at all, is it?
Not for me. I usually roll.
Because considering
I
it's
usually roll a lot
but
better.
considering it's everything above a 16 gives you an increase to max HP.
Oh dear.
it's not so
So
helpful.
does
today.
everyone get a -1?
Just don't give me food poisoning
No,
again.
it just no, there's no food poisoning.
It's fine.
It's good enough. It's a
Okay, I told you that wasn't me. Okay.
it's a nice warm meal. You feel fulfilled. You feel ready for the day. You do, however, notice that the effects of the temp HP seem to have worn off, despite the fact that you do see that you do still seem to have the dark vision when walking around the darkness of the tent, Sullivan. Yeah. As you pack up the tent and get ready to head
Sullivan
out.
only?
Oh, sorry. I thought you already had dark vision. You got a ring on.
I
Right?
do. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All
So
right, I see what you mean.
Sullivan will notice because Sullivan doesn't have dark vision normally, but everybody
Yeah.
else has dark vision. So, but they'll still feel that vision is slightly sharper. And yeah, as you guys pack up the tent, you will notice you seem to be being watched. Ashran's sharp eyes
Again?
catch somebody
Oh.
who is sort of a layer up. So you remember this mountain trail goes around. Somebody sort of 150, 200 feet above you. You catch the glint of light reflecting on what might be a spyglass as somebody seems to be keeping an eye on you.
What if I just fly up there, guys?
Do it. Give him a good scare. Say boo and then come back.
I go up there.
Okay. As you begin to float up, Ashram will note that the glint of light on metal disappears, and by the time you get up there, nothing.
No
Give me a
clues.
survival check as you look around.
Survival.
Can I walk up to help her?
Just
Just
leave
Can
Can
everyone
I
else
walk
down.
up the mountainside because I'm cool? Yeah, why not? Why not? Go ahead and instead I will give the advantage to Ashrin and ask her for an advantage survival check from Ashrin. Unless, Michaela, you
Do
just rolled a
that.
nat 20.
I got a 16.
That's not
which
bad.
is better than I expected, but
But,
Ashwin
yes,
probably
Ashrin with
better
advantage
still.
should be
With
okay.
advantage.
Yes.
24.
Nice.
So you see the tracks retreat all about 4 or 5 feet, and then they vanish as if somebody has taken flight.
Oh wait.
Or just Misty
Don't
Step,
Aasimar
disappeared, teleported, anything like that. Yes, it is Aasimar up the top. They do usually have the gift of flight, especially the priestly kinds. But you
only for like
can't
30
see them up
For
above
a
you.
minute.
They also are likely to be a priesthood. They might have other magics that help them
Yeah.
appear and reappear and stuff like that. And you're not actually 100% sure it was a person. It was just a sort of a shadowy figure with a spyglass. For all you know, it could have
Oh,
been
it
an
was a
arcane
scarecrow.
eye or... Yeah, or a scarecrow. Definitely. Glacius, it could have been that. Yeah,
How
it could have been
far
an arcane eye or
until-
clairvoyance or something like that.
How far until the cloud layer?
About another 600 feet. 800 feet. In a direct line upwards.
Oof. I feel like we've
Yeah.
been climbing this mountain for ages.
Nope. About an hour and 45 minutes, I believe, is how long you've been climbing this mountain for, plus an 8-hour sleep.
Feels like it's been like 2 months that we've been on this mountain.
You've definitely been on the way to the mountain for about 2 months of real lifetime, that's for sure.
For sure.
But yeah, assuming that you're coming back down, Carmen Ashrin,
I suppose.
you
Yeah.
guys can continue along the path, and after about an hour, you come to a small shrine. 3 stones on either side, with a flat stone on the top, an everlasting flame, and a bowl.
Ah, this again.
Ugh.
These
Copper-
gods.
Copper coin this time.
Before you do, give me a perception check. Or investigation, if you prefer to get a little closer and stick your nose in it.
I do.
Does Callum have a nose?
No, he does not.
What a
That's a
great
21.
These are the questions we need to be asking in our D&D sessions.
Exactly.
Do you have a nose?
Not anymore.
Okay, so Voldemort got a 21, is that right?
Didn't need it.
Great, love that.
Yep.
Yeah, you notice one difference.
Wow, incredible.
The bowl is different in colour. It is a sort of earthenware bowl. And as you go to place your coin, you see a remnant of juice? Gravy?
Juice.
Sauce? You're not sure. It's something.
Ew. It's
Source?
probably
What is this,
blood.
divinity?
Yeah, inside the bowl.
Gross. Can I?
You get the impression
get a
that
closer
it's
look
maybe-
At this?
Well, it's definitely a food stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's not blood.
No, it's yes. I regularly describe blood as a sauce or a gravy.
I mean, listen.
Yum.
You cut the creature open and ketchup flows out.
That's a
no,
some creature.
James, it
The
could be a
PG
gingerbread
version
man.
of D&D.
Yeah.
It could be a gingerbread man, alright?
Yeah. No. Callum, it's pretty obvious that whoever last put something in this bowl put food in it.
Okay. I will pull out my Tupperware of leftover breakfast and put some scrambled eggs in there.
Yeah. The bowl, the light goes temporarily green, and then goes back to yellow, and the food stuff is consumed, leaving no sauce behind this time. Apart from that one trickle from somebody else who just didn't put the food in right. So it's like they gave it soup or something.
Okay.
I'll pull
I'll
out
tell
my
everyone.
I'll pull out my little Tupperware, which is the perfectly made salad for Fox.
Oh.
And I'll put it in.
Yeah.
A little disappointed, but
yeah,
I'll
doesn't
sneak the
want to let
leaf
the
off
food
the-
go to waste.
I'll sneak a bit of lettuce off the top so that I can put it in later.
Each one of
you
you,
cheapskate.
each one of you puts a bit of food into the bowl. The bowl burns. The light burns green and then goes back to its regular colour. And you feel a bit bolstered against the day. You feel
Oh
a
wait,
bit-
we should have put money in there too to see if it's different.
You can try putting money in
Stupid.
it. But
Well,
all
I
of you have given
can't.
an
I already
offering, so yes, indeed.
Yeah.
The second offering will be refused. You feel a little bit bolstered, a little bit strengthened against the day, and that warm feeling effuses you once again. 10 temp HP each.
Let's go.
And you can continue on up the mountainside.
It does nothing
Does it do nothing? We'll
for
see.
me.
Alright, well,
That,
next time
bro.
don't be
Okay,
Shadowvale
sure.
cursed.
The temp HP is doing
I'm
nothing
just
for you.
joking. Sorry.
But the warm effusion and the bolstering against the day might do something.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, true.
But you're not sure what as yet.
Don't get cursed next time then.
As you
God.
continue on up this small winding mountain path, at various points you will see what appears to be a strange stack of sticks on the side of the road. There's sort of 7 or 8 branches. They're like interlocking twigs. They're all about the same length. They look like they've been cut with a knife. They're about a foot in length, and they've all been lent together as if to make a sort of
Shelter?
Well, sure, if you're trying to house a mouse.
Aw.
They're a foot in height. They do look a little bit like a teepee when put together without the cloth over the top.
Cute.
Yeah. But you see this
Any
quite a
gnomes
few
around
times.
here?
Even a gnome wouldn't be able to fit in it, right? If you were to put a
Oh.
creature in it, it needs to be 6 inches tall. Because each stick is a
Okay,
foot, and
is-
it's lent across each other like that.
Is there a wild-shaped druid in there?
There is nothing in there. It also wouldn't give much shelter because nothing is tossed over the sticks, right? It just appears to be an arrangement of sticks.
I'll move my hair aside and take Huckleberry out from where he's been sitting in my hood in the back. Just, well, I don't know. Go sit in it.
Enjoy it.
Okay. Huckleberry looks for a gap in the twigs and eventually sort of squeezes through and sits in it. If a chipmunk could fold its arms and look disgruntled, Huckleberry would do so. Just kind of sits there like, yeah, cool, I'm on show, I'm in a cage, like, this is great, nothing's happening. But as you go to take Huckleberry out, you will notice one particular thing. You see that there's a sort of pattern as to how close together different sticks are. It does look like they've actually been placed quite carefully. And with your memory of the one you saw a little earlier on, and a little bit further up the path, you'll see another, and you can go and have a look at that. Ashrin, give me a nature check.
I'm so good at that.
Does anybody, character-wise, have a particular fascination with the phases of the moon or the night sky or anything that stars would have been that Fox would have been really good for, but isn't because he isn't here?
I guess I could
Probably.
be fairly close to it because I study a lot and read a lot about it. But
Admiral's a
You
nerd.
study a lot of
Nerd.
stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is something you'd have to be particularly interested in.
Is that the same thing that I'm already rolling for? Because I think Ashton would have a pretty big interest in the
Yeah, well,
stars.
this is why I got you to roll.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think the stars. Yes. What did you get?
12.
You get the impression it's not the stars. It's something to do with the moon. It's the way it's placed. You remember where the moons were in the sky last night. The two moons in the sky were sort of lined up so that if you were to sit and put your face on the floor, you would see the two moons at the tip of this wooden structure.
Kind of like a clock?
A little bit like a
Calendar?
calendar, exactly. Yeah. It seems to be keeping track of the phases of the moon. If you remember, those people you were talking to were rather disturbed that a constellation vanished.
Oh yeah, that thing.
And a bright star was pulled out of the sky. You might know. Oh, sorry, the music's getting a bit feisty. Let's calm you down a little bit. We're not about to win something.
We're gonna
time.
lose. All right.
Darn.
It's not time for an award. Can you calm down a little bit? Thank you. Yeah, you get the impression this is made to measure the moon phases, perhaps in case they're wrong, or they've changed, or... Lots of people recently have been studying the night sky way more deeply than they used to. Oh no! Okay, I just saw Fox come up in the GIF. I forgot to change
Who's
it.
he?
Who's he? Such a savagery. But yes,
New Fox, who dat?
it's a shame Fox isn't here. Fox, for those of you watching, Fox is a character who left us a couple of weeks back. Jay got a new job. Go Jay, but damn you.
Curse him.
Yeah, anyway.
Both at once.
Fox was a stars druid and fascinated with the sky. Isn't here anymore, but the rest of you would at least have learned something from Fox, and that's that the night sky hasn't been behaving the way it should in recent times. So yeah, this looks to be a device for tracking the phases of the moon. Why they keep doing it all the way up the mountain, though, not so sure. The 12, I'm afraid. You good? Was that a real noise? Or?
Yeah, I'm just thinking. We had the druids. We got the two tree staffs from that Fox had before he left us.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't the sort that would have been looking
You
at
never met
stars,
the
were they?
druids.
They were more interested
You
in
never met
animals,
the
right?
druids.
Yeah, they
Oh.
were dead, weren't they?
Yeah, they went. They died to collect an egg, a rock egg. But the staffs were definitely sort of a woodland, natural, foresty sort of thing. They weren't druids of the stars. No, you don't think so.
Right. Okay.
those
So I remember
two
they had
wizards-
like a day,
the two
tally
wizards.
going on of their own thing in their cave where we found
They
the staff, right?
They did have lines, tallies on the wall, counting days. You're not sure what they were counting days for, but they did indeed strike off the phases of the moon on a regular basis.
That's why I remember that, which is why I was wondering if this could have been somewhat linked to them, or if they were
Jamal,
looking
you
at
pay
sort of natural
attention.
phases.
How exciting! I'm so proud of you.
How sweet.
Yes, they did. They were marking off the phase of the moon, and this isn't the first time or the last time you've seen that. Those divination wizards were they were staying in one place at a certain time per phase of the moon. They were moving whenever the full moon came. The full moon is the larger of the two moons in the sky. You've also noticed this back at the Magus Arcane, that certain things work based on the phases of the moon. It seems to be about fluctuation in magic, in natural magics. No one really seems to have much of a grasp of what the effects are, but everybody seems to know there are effects. And different people do things differently. You know, the sea elves out to the north practically worship the phases of the moon. you know, a lot of the people who worship the constellation are paying a lot of close attention to the skies and stuff like that. But at the moment, you can't work out why they've put a bunch of different stick arrangements all the way up the mountainside. So you'll just have to
More
carry on.
important. Got it.
So as a side note, one thing that both me as a player and Zavril as a character is trying to work out is the phase of the moon that they were counting in relation to the guys who died to the rocks. If that was, you know, just if that had something linked in with it in one way, or if that was literally just they're trying to count like for a season or multiple seasons to find out what fucking mating season is for rocks and then
Sure.
younglings.
You didn't have any real connection with the druids, so you won't be able to work that out specifically, but you do know that regularly when people keep dates, the moon phases come into it. And the reason for this is that your calendar is static, right? The months are always the same, the days are always the same. You know, today is what is it?
There's no leap year.
It is, oh sorry, I haven't changed the time till today. Let's put us all on the roll 20. It's about 10 a.m. It is Tarsak the 4th, and 36 days have passed since you've been together. So this calendar is static, right? It is Tarsak the 4th every year at this time of the year. But the phases of the moon aren't. They move across the months. So it's... Oh, people are in the wrong places. Let's just quickly grab... That is Glacius. And that is Sullivan. Michaela is on the camera. Cool. Yeah, so... you get the impression that because the moon phases change, people haven't really developed a way of knowing exactly what phase of the moon we're going to be in like 2 months' time or whatever, because they fluctuate. So people have to keep track of it at constant times to know. Because, you know, not everybody is out every night looking up at the moon. And I could ask you right now, what was the moon like last night, right? And 1 or 2 of you might have seen the moon and remembered, but it's unlikely anyone else is going to tell me whether there's going to be a full moon next week, because none of us remember. But if it was affecting your daily magic and the way that the world acts, basically, you might pay a little more attention to it. So, yeah, that's about all the moon information you're getting right now. Head on up the mountain. Scoot on past weird sticks at regular intervals. And after about 2.5 hours have passed, you see a small shrine on the side of the road. Yet again, 3 stones, flat slab on the top. And somebody has put a small pile of pebbles in front of it, and has sort of etched a note onto a stone tablet.
What does it say?
What's on this note?
Yeah, who's
What's note?
celestial readingificated?
Oh, God.
And Obi.
I was gonna say probably Obi.
Obi
Obi's
and
the
Asher.
linguist.
Obi and Ashen, as you look at this, it says, a single pebble will stave away the hungers of the darkness.
Okay.
It's deep.
It's odd.
It would like a pebble, apparently. I'll select a pebble from the pile and place it in the bowl.
Yeah, you do so. The light extinguishes, and then relights.
Oh, Ashrin, now you've done it.
And it relights moments afterwards. Do the rest of you repeat the process?
Well,
Sure.
is the pebble gone? When
There was a pile
That's
of
a great
pebbles.
question.
Oh yes,
No,
the
the one
pebble.
in the
The
bowl.
pebble is gone from the bowl. Yes.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'll repeat the process then.
Okay. After 3 or 4 of you do this, Obi and Zavra will notice that the pile of pebbles is not getting any smaller. Odd.
Okay.
Magic.
You'd think if they could make an endless pile of pebbles, they don't need to collect them in a donation, but whatever.
It's to show faith.
It's
James.
symbolic.
Yeah.
God.
At each point, the light extinguishes. 10 temp HP if you have lost any, which you haven't.
I fell down.
Oh.
I
I
fell
Twisted
down the
my
mine.
ankle.
Yeah.
And as you walk away from the shrine, at first, you don't really notice anything except a weird absence, a lack, something odd. Something doesn't quite feel right. And then as you continue onwards, after a while, I think it's probably Ashrin that'll notice first. You can't hear your own footsteps. In fact, you can't hear anyone else's either. You're so used to these clunky people walking so heavily.
Thump, 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 thump.
At this
When
point,
he
Callum,
walks, the very ground shakes.
I'm assuming Sid is walking behind you. You're not in Sid at this point.
Yeah.
Yes,
for the
so
moment.
Callum, you will notice that your footsteps are silent, but Sid's are not.
Clank, clank.
As yet, Sid has not given an offering.
Sid, what did I tell you?
Make sure you put rocks in weird bowls.
Does he do exactly that? Go back and put the rock in the bowl.
Yeah, go back and put a pebble in the bowl.
Okay, he does so, and then it's very weird to see this large, iron, mechanical creature take silent steps. You know,
Nice.
Bizarre.
Excellent.
Now
Does
we're
the
talking.
ground still shake when he walks, though? Because, like...
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, there are still some tremors. It seems like it's just the sound. It's like there's a silent spell cast on your feet.
Would you say we're wearing sneakers?
No, I would never say such a thing. Unless I had a thought of it first, at which point I definitely would have said it. Yeah, so as you guys begin gently pacing up the mountainside, you continue onwards, you grab a quick lunch. We're not going to delve into what was for lunch, it was probably adequate. And as you continue on up the mountainside, at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you see what appears to be a tripod made of metal with a space for a spyglass, but no spyglass is present. Ashwin and Callum, you will note that you flew up here this morning.
This wasn't here?
The tripod had been pulled away before. But now the tripod itself has been left there. The spyglass has not. There are no signs of any footsteps. As if somebody's
Free
come and
tripod.
swept away. Sure.
Free tripod. Period.
Take a tripod if you want.
Yoink.
See if we can return this to its rightful owner.
Yeah, you pick
Now
up a
I
metal
just need to
tripod.
find a spyglass to put on it.
You pick up the
It's a
metal
shame I
tripod.
don't have one. I would love
I
one,
thought I
but I
had
don't have
one.
one.
Yeah,
No,
me
they're quite
too.
expensive in this day and age.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't have one.
1,000 gold pieces.
Well, we're pretty rich these days. Okay, one
Sure.
in the city.
Yeah, so you continue
Well,
on
the
up the
same with
mountainside.
free ones.
Lenses
Why are
and
we
some
buying
goggles, but no spyglass. For shame.
You carry on up the mountainside a little further, and you see a passage of rock that is broken away. The whole path has been a sort of beaten trail so far, but there's a sort of gouge out of the path. There's a piece of the path that's fallen down the side in what appears to have been an avalanche of some sort. As part of the mountainside has crumbled away.
It was when Sid started walking.
No, you haven't got here yet. But there is a thin, narrow passage along close to the mountainside. What's the thinking?
Is this the... excuse you. Is this like the only way?
There is only one path up this mountain.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Unless you want to climb the sheer face to your right, which I know you and Laura would have no problem with, but the rest of people might not be so impressed.
Yeah. I'm happy to circumvent it, but let's
You could perhaps fly over it and then secure a rope, just at least to make sure that nobody else falls down.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Thinking God.
Ashwin does some
I
weird
was
walk
just-
along the side of the wall.
Yeah. Sure, we'll go
Spider-Man
up,
style.
secure a rope to Sid, and all right.
Sid is beastly
Go
strong
ahead.
and will have no problems holding onto the rope as each one of you.
Sid's
scales
like
past.
that old pickup
Good
truck
time.
that like you use to pull everything.
But as you guys cross over this gap in the ravine, you will notice claw marks scratching all the way down the side of where the mountainside has fallen away, as if a huge creature with claws had landed here. The rock had given way, and they'd scrabbled at the wall to try and maintain and stay up.
Does it look like the claw marks of that giant demon that's
That's
been
what I was.
following us?
It
The
does
Lich
indeed
dragon.
look like.
Wait, the demon or the bone?
It doesn't look like the bone dragon that's been following you. No.
Oh.
No, it
the
looks
demon.
like perhaps the Balor.
That's been laughing at us the entire time.
Oh, you killed it.
We
last
killed
week.
it.
Well,
Killed
we
last
sent it
session,
back
but yes.
temporarily
Well,
at least.
yeah, for 100 years traditionally. I mean, unless something goes wrong.
Might not be the only one though.
Sure.
Wait, 100 years?
That's how long a
Fantastic.
banishment lasts when you banish a demon back to the the abyss.
Yeah.
Damn. Let's hope it stays that long and no one brings it back sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it could have a brother.
It can't be brought back to the material plane unless, like, somebody incredibly powerful, like, sort of god powerful, was to try and bend the rules.
Oh, good.
So that
Well,
particular Balora is going to stay gone.
Like Ravenesca or something?
Sure. But you do see that there is some fire to the clawing. So either it was a red dragon, which dragons haven't been seen in these places for many years. Or perhaps, some sort of demonic creature. But it's certainly nothing that
Also
you
dead?
instinctively recognize. But as you guys move over, you will note that some creature has fallen from above down through this path.
He's fallen and he can't get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we finished him.
Maybe.
Well, we can ask when we get to the temple, maybe, if they saw it.
Yeah, definitely. That would be the logical response.
That's heresy. Burned at the stake.
As you continue upwards a little further, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you see another shrine on the side of the road.
Oh boy.
But this one doesn't have a bowl or a flame. Instead, there is just a stone tablet with an inscription upon it. And as you all gaze at it, it seems to have almost like a comprehend languages spell cast upon it, as it will morph to your natural language, the language that you instinctively read for each of you. And it repeats that message that you saw quite a long time ago, which says, "Do not ask questions of the mountain, because the mountain will reply in full."
Oh my gosh, it was so long ago.
I don't even remember it. That's how long ago it was.
Oh, you were quite interested at the time. But yes, it is once again this warning of, have not any arrogance in this situation. If the mountain is beyond you, accept that the mountain is beyond you, is the sort of message given. And just as you go to take one more step up the mountain, you feel weary, tired. I need a con save from a lot of you, except because you all gave a piece of food quite a long time ago, this will be an advantage.
Yeah.
Yo! And we get +5 because Sullivan exists.
You can pick 2 people that Sullivan is standing next to in this situation.
I'm so glad I had advantage, thank you.
2 people who Sullivan standing next to, should we say Obi and Ashrin have probably got the lowest con saves, I think.
Yeah, probably.
I need to open up Obi's character sheet. Who is the traditional Obi controller? Is that Josh?
Me.
Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, Obi's got a huge fucking con save. Okay, never mind. It ain't him. It's just meant to be an advantage. I'll just do a second roll.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll get a 21 standing next to Sullivan. Anybody get below a 17?
No.
Cool.
Zabral's
Yeah.
having the time of his life.
You feel like this path has suddenly, you realise the drain it's had upon you, and even though you all succeeded at your con saves, yeah, that's because I don't Twitter anymore, Covert. But thanks for the update, I'll get it out of my notes. But yes, as you continue on, you feel a little more tired, a little more drained, and suddenly you begin to look up and see how much further, you've still got sort of another 500 or 600 feet up to the clouds. And goodness only knows how far beyond the clouds. As you continue onwards, the sun will set, and each of you will suddenly be very confused. As when you look around, it seems that each of you are glowing.
Oh my goodness.
Innately. Unless anybody didn't give a pebble.
This is like Ashra's worst nightmare is to be constantly hit by light.
Well, yes, potentially. Although, you didn't seem to be glowing in the daytime. So,
Whoa, we're glow in the dark.
yeah, something
That's
like
worse.
that. Well, yes, maybe. Although you will notice that no creatures seem to be paying you any more mind than they were before. as you continue on up a little further, you will encounter another one of those flattened out areas with a brazier, where you may take a long rest and rest up.
This
Tonight,
path may be draining, but it's worse so far than the affliction that I've been burdened with.
speaking of said affliction, you will not need to make a con save tonight. You will succeed.
Oh, excellent, thank you.
Yep, it's a little while before you're going to have to succeed at one of those again. And in the morning, although your temp HP is sank or off, you will still feel some of the effects, but not others. You'll be able to hear your footsteps. So that effect seems to have worn off. You will no longer feel bolstered against the path, but you do still seem to have that dark visions.
Oh,
that's
of course we had
cool.
to stop and take a rest. We couldn't have just powered on through it and soldiered on. Oh well, such is the way.
Yeah. In the morning, a grand breakfast spread is put out for you, I'm sure, but we're not going to delve too into detail because we've got a little more mountain to climb. You do encounter 2 more shrines, and each one of these seems to take a coin. The first of which will give you advantage on all athletics checks, making the walk a little easier, hiking a little simpler, and the second one will give you advantage against any checks saves versus exhaustion. But none of these will come into play for as experienced adventurers as yourselves. You continue on up the mountain path, and finally, as you look down, you will note that you have come perhaps halfway up the mountain.
It's only halfway. Wow, this is a long trail.
Yeah, it's a huge mountain, and you're going around it very slowly.
Callum, can you just like fly us up?
Callum
I can
fly
fly
Callum.
myself up.
Yeah.
I was being polite, waiting for you all.
You do
How about we
one.
just send Astrid and Callum to just go do the talks?
Just go
We'll
solve
just go
it.
do everything.
Yes, renowned
Meet
for
you
their
back at the
charisma
bottom.
between the two of them.
Yeah.
I think they've got a score of 18.
Can talk good.
Yeah.
Together they have an 18.
Exactly. I don't think I'd send them to do the talking.
No, it's okay. It's a 19.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
Didn't think of that, did you?
Oh, wait, can one of you just carry Obi? There you go. That's our talker.
Actually, that's a.
I am not role-playing with myself on behalf of Matt, who's not here. That is not happening.
Yep. Sounds good. We'll just.
So,
watch.
as you continue onwards, you will once again see this bone-like dragon dip beneath the clouds, keeping its eye on you. But otherwise, notice nothing of interest as you reach the third resting space. But about 2:30 in the morning, whoever is keeping watch, we'll assume it's, we'll say it's Callum at this
Callum?
time. Yeah.
I'm just a box. I don't need to sleep.
Just a little
Just
guy.
a box.
Oh my.
We'll just update
Callum's
our
just a little
calendar.
square guy.
Yeah, I
you-
just turned into a cube.
You
when I
sense the
sleep.
movement of a man. Not a man. A man.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Amon's here.
I forgot.
Totally
Yeah,
with us.
too.
It's been very quiet.
He has been told to be quiet for a while because honestly we don't have time for that.
Yeah, he's still giving Obi and Ashrin vocab lessons.
Yes, he is doing that.
I love that.
But yeah.
He's quiet the entire day until the night where you guys are in school and he's yelling at you.
And I guess when he's willing at moments, I would like to learn a little bit about the culture of his people.
Sure.
That's sweet.
He'll roleplay more of that at another time because at the moment I'm going to focus on the fact that it is not a man, but a man. Moving
no,
around
his
the
brother.
outer,
Oh, no,
moving
it's an
around the
imposter.
edge of your camp. They seem to be shuffling
Moving around the edge. Huh?
Yeah, shuffling sort of slightly out of vision. Go ahead and
Check
give me a
on that.
perception check. Callum, this will be with advantage because you
Oh,
still have the
cool.
effect of the shrine.
Glad it was at advantage. Didn't actually help. 12.
Okay. Yeah, they seem to be shuffling in the shadows, and they go the whole way round the tent and the camp. And then you see a small spark of light sort of directly opposite you across the sort of paved area. And a voice speaks out. approaching the camp. Peaceful. And he
Shoot
puts
him.
his hands up and then sort of
alright.
walks in towards you. You'll notice
I
that this-
will
Oh, go on.
pop out back into my human shape form and stand up so I can,
I like to imagine
acknowledge
you
this
rock it
person.
up. You rock it up, do a little roll, and
The man is wearing a plain brown robe. His head is completely shaven. He looks somewhere between 40 and 60 years old. It's difficult to place him. He's got a weathered face, but browbeat, as if spends a lot of time in the sun and outdoors. And he holds a simple wooden staff that he appeared to not be holding only moments ago, but as soon as you said to come in, it sort of almost manifested in his hand. He takes a deep bow in front of you. Apologies for the hour. It would seem I am late or early, depending on your perspective.
Were you expecting us?
You were seen a while back. I am to be your guide.
Oh, wow.
Apologies that it's taken me so long.
Hey, I'll wake up, let's say, Sullivan. Sullivan,
Yes.
this guy says he's our guide. Wake up, wake up!
What's going on?
You seem
Sullivan,
like
there's a guy here. Talk
There's a
to him.
guy. Yeah, you seem like a judge of character.
Oh,
What's this guy's deal?
hello. What are you doing here?
Going to guide us.
Sullivan puts his night robe on.
I am to be your guide.
Guide to get to the temple?
To the Cloud Temple, indeed.
Who sent you?
When anyone approaches the foothills of the mountain, one of us is sent to retrieve our visitors. It's protocol, I suppose.
Are you an
Tradition.
Aasimar?
No. He gestures towards his face. It's quite obvious that he isn't.
My
Apologies. But you do know that the temple is meant to be full of Aasimar, right? He doesn't appear
Yeah,
to
well,
be
that's
listening.
why I asked.
You'll note that a slight upturn of his ears hints at him being half elven.
I see.
Whoa.
Mud blood.
I will discreetly wake up Glacius also.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Solomon.
Solomon. Nice to meet you, Solomon. I'm Sullivan. What a tongue
You made
twister.
that sound a lot harder than it was to say. He will sort of, just to prove a
I can't
point,
tell the
go,
difference.
greetings, Sullivan, I am Solomon.
For a moment, I really
Indeed.
thought you did say that his name was Sullivan, and I was like, he named
No.
him.
I don't know which one
name
to
the
choose.
character.
Solomon. Like Solomon Keening. That is a weird
Um,
reference that no one is going to get.
Is
Anyway,
the
Nope.
is the journey there treacherous? Is that why you've come to guide us?
it can be arduous upon the road, but it is more... It is best that many of your questions are answered before you reach the top.
I see. Well, in that case,
I
and
didn't
I'll
mean
start
to wake the
patting
camp.
everyone to wake them all up.
No, please.
Pat, no, wake up!
Finish
Nope.
your rest. Sleep is...
We're under attack! Wake
And
the fuck up!
I could do with a short break myself.
Well, please come in, and I'll open the tent door, quote unquote.
My goodness. Well, that is unexpected. Quite magnificent, if I might say so.
Wow.
Wow. What a place.
Yes, we're proud of it.
Thank you. I will... He goes to make to sit at the little table in the kitchen.
Oh, please make yourself at home. Would you like tea, crumpet?
We don't have crumpet.
No, just some
out.
rest, please.
Very well.
And he takes a small hip flask from his side and he just drinks a little bit of water.
From his hip.
You can use my bed.
No, that's quite alright.
Jeez.
I take my rest sitting.
I see.
Same.
You
He
were,
sits straight like a pencil.
you were resting when I approached. He asks, "Come."
This whole time, did it seem like he was telling the truth?
Give me an
Was there
insight
any
check.
like eye twitches or
Give me
Ooh,
an
24.
AP check.
Yeah, he seems like a humble, honest man. Even if he had some sort of nefarious thing, he's not really said anything that would be any different.
Would indicate that.
Yeah, he's
That's
just
fair
offered
enough.
to guide you up the mountain. And
Then I'll.
I say offered, but he hasn't really given you a choice.
Sure.
You know, he's told you he is here to guide you up the
Well,
mountain.
even if we said no, we'd be walking back the same way. So.
Right? Yeah,
It would
exactly.
be
Awkward to say goodbye and just walk
exactly.
side by
You'd have to
side.
throw him off the edge of the mountain if you wanted him to.
Yeah.
Tackle him off the edge. Callum
In
just
that
flies back
in
up.
that case, I'll just say, please excuse me. Unfortunately, I need more rest than
Of
others.
course, we all need a rest before the morning. Thank you for welcoming
And
me
Alex.
to your tent.
I'll excuse myself and go to my bedroom.
He takes a sort of
Give him your
meditative
bed.
pose. No, he refused it.
Said no because he
So-
wants to sit. Yeah.
He actually pulls the chair backwards a little bit, and then he lifts his legs up so that his feet are on the edge of the chair and his head is resting on his knees.
Oh, he did pick up a box, just like me.
Yeah, he takes on a very meditative pose. And anyone who's watching very closely will note
Fantastic.
that his eyes don't quite close, which is really creepy.
Okay, Gandalf.
Okay, perfect, man.
How curious.
He makes no sleeping noises, no strange breathing or snoring in any way. Yeah, he just...
Purely
Well-
meditative resting. That's quite the
I will do the same
ability.
thing directly across from him.
He loves that.
So
You do
I
note
become
that
a box,
after a
we're
little
just
while,
stare at each other.
he
the
does
whole
kind
night.
of slightly curiously look at you, and then purposely avert his eyes about 7 degrees to the right, so he's staring just past your right shoulder, and then he continues his rest. In the morning, Callum, you will note that he sort of unfolds himself at about 6 a.m. He goes out the tent, and you'll hear a sort of light whistling noise as he seems to be whistling a gentle tune, and wandering about. And after a little while, the smell of breakfast will wake the rest of you. As you go outside, he's got the brazier
This is my
lit.
kitchen.
No, he's
your
not in your
job.
kitchen. He's outside. He's got the brazier lit, and he appears to have a small animal skewered over it. It's not enough to feed 7 of you. Or 8 of you,
Okay,
actually,
good.
now, I suppose, including himself. But it does definitely seem to be enough to feed himself.
Wow, you're allowed to cook with these things?
Yeah, how do you think I've been cooking?
No, you've been cooking in the kitchen, in the
He's using the
tent's
little,
kitchen.
the little.
He's
shrine
using
thingy,
the
right?
the brazier is specifically designed to have a small fire above it, and as I said to you, there was a skewer and 2 holders to allow you to put food over
True.
it. He's
True.
It's
basically
a very
eating.
designated resting
Yeah,
spot then.
he's literally eating a squirrel for breakfast.
Gross.
I'll make do, you know. And as he begins to sort of pare it back with a tiny little knife and skin it, just as you're coming out of the tent, you will note that he's having breakfast, and he greets each of you with a sort of very happy smile and good morning, good morning. Pleasant day, isn't it? Lovely. In
Oh
fact.
yeah, forgot about that. I need my coffee.
Solomon, was it?
Indeed, that's me. And you?
Name's Avril.
Pleasure.
I have a question for you, if you don't mind.
Of course not. That's what I'm
What
here
is
for.
it? What are these threats up ahead through the mountain pass? Is this like like threats as such why you're here as a guide, or is it
No.
more so for?
My primary responsibility is to answer questions. The journey can be arduous. It is a little steep in places, and sometimes unusual beasts hunt the skies. But for the most part, it's usually
Yeah,
a fairly
unusual
safe walk.
beasts. We've seen a few of those, right?
I don't know. Have you? He
Oh,
glances
look,
up at
it's
the
a
sky.
demon.
Same. I'll look at the other-
There
other
is
spots,
no
is what I'm
bone
saying.
dragon in sight.
Okay, well, have you seen a bone dragon in the skies in the last couple days, actually?
Yes.
Oh, so he did see it.
Seemed to arrive about the
Okay.
same time you did.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
coincidence.
sure that's just a coincidence.
Yeah, one of you may give me a deception check, Glacius or Callum. You can choose between you.
Like, you can probably take it.
Let's take a
What is-
look. I think
I have a negative,
I have a neutral. All right, so this is gonna be a
so
0.
let's take the neutral.
Let's see, baby. That's a 2.
Oh, fantastic.
What was the check again?
To
That's being
deceive
made?
him that it is a coincidence that the bone dragon has arrived with you all.
Oh,
Yeah, he takes one glance at you, Glacius, and a coincidence, I'm sure. But
The guy in demon armor.
Yeah.
It's not. It's following us, but we don't know why.
And I have a coffee mug that says "totally not a demon."
Quite probably questions that could be answered at the top of the hour. I cannot answer those sorts of questions, but questions about the order, questions about the temple itself. That is mostly what I'm here for, and to make sure that you reach the summit.
We have questions about sort
Can
of.
I pull people aside real fast?
What's
Do you
that?
guys think it's a little coincidental that we're not supposed to ask questions of the mountain and a man arrives and says, "Ask me questions"?
Whoa.
Sandwich.
Are you sure you're not
Some
a
cooking.
wizard, Astrid? Because the leap you just made in logic.
He doesn't look like that dwarf, the mountain that you met before.
You met a dwarf mountain?
Yeah, Laura controlled him for an entire
One
2
of
sessions.
Yeah.
Do not ask questions of the
Funny.
mountain, for the mountain will to
You mean
reply in full.
Okay.
Can you imagine if that's what all those tablets meant, was don't ask that dwarf any questions?
He's a big deal.
He's a big deal, alright? He's a big lad.
Well,
yes,
Astrid, now you've got me second guessing myself.
I'm just saying it's a little coincidental.
Listen, I need my coffee before we can talk about this. And food. I'll go to the kitchen and start making food.
You can breakfast. He'll keep to himself at the fire. He makes no qualms if you all separate out and talk in a tiny little huddle really quietly, or go into the tent together one by one, or whatever. Like, he lets you do whatever it is that you wish to do. He seeks no particular interaction. He's just there if you wish to speak to him. He greets everybody who comes near him with sort of happiness, and he makes idle, banal comments on things like the weather, asks you how your walk has been so far, takes a bit of interest in Sid, as
Maybe
Sid
he's
is
a
unusual.
ghost.
His handshake seemed firm enough for a ghost.
Maybe we're all just
Oreo?
like super drunk and like think that we felt a handshake.
It's possible.
It's mountain madness.
Mm.
Ooh, I love that. Alright, then I will just walk away from this man. And not-
I do have one more question for him. I don't know if we'll get an answer of this, but I'd like to ask him, who was it that advised you that we were coming? Who was it that sort of, I guess, sent you?
You've done that thing, Jamel, where you've done everything but ask the question. Are you speaking to him at this point, or are you telling the group
no,
you'd
I'm
like to
asking
ask
him.
that question?
I'm asking
Because that's
him,
what it sounded
who
like.
is it that- yeah, I am asking him. Yeah, who is it that advised you that we were coming? Who is it that sent you
The
around?
Watchers on duty. They keep an eye on comings and goings at the foot of the mountain.
Wow.
Watchers.
Must have a good spyglass.
They have means
That,
of
or they can
transportation,
throw
from what I
really far.
understand. But,
They just put a message in a bottle and just huck it all the way to the top of the mountain.
but yes, he sort of, as soon as we became aware of your arrival, a guide was sent. That would be me. Shall we walk?
Is this something that you normally do, or is
Of
this more circumstantial?
This is, for the majority of it, the purpose of my existence. Has been for a long period of time. I enjoy it.
Were you sent to guide a giant who came over here? How long ago was that? 2 months or something?
Tragedy that. No. I was not. Though one of my brothers was. Not in the familial sense, if you will. Not in the sense of order.
Nice.
Like how Michaela and I had the same thought of.
Your brother.
Yeah,
It's a moon
I will say
instead of a moon.
a guide was sent, unfortunately. We couldn't find a common tongue. Questions weren't answered by the time the mountain, the giant reached the summit of the mountain. We perceive it as a failure that a fight broke out. He looks genuinely devastated.
Well, that's sort of what led to our being here, but we'll sort it out as we get there, I suppose.
I'm sure you will.
Wait, so are we not allowed to ask questions when we get to the temple? Is that why you're here?
Well, and he gestures towards the path as if to say, "Shall we walk and talk?"
Let's walk in.
Oh, I assumed we were at
Absolutely.
this point.
No, because you said you were making breakfast. He wasn't just going to ditch.
Oh, I just made a couple sandwiches. That's all.
Okay.
Like, I didn't have anything grand.
Yeah. So he begins to say that the guard themselves have sworn a vow of silence. It would be awkward for you to approach the guard and to have them unable to reply. So that's the first reason that a guide is sent. The second is that many of the priests are in meditation, and it is usually my job by the time we reach the summit to direct you to those that might best answer your questions or greet you and induct you to the temple, or serve you in whichever manner is most appropriate.
Interesting.
Think of me as a clerk, if you will.
Oh. I love that.
You have been giving to the shrines as you proceeded, and he gestures towards a small shrine on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah. Is there, we just kind of have been doing it.
Excellent. It's more intuitive for most people who are good of heart, and the mountain path is a lot harder if you do not interact with the shrines. And with this, he takes that water skin again from his hip and he pours a little bit of water into the bowl. The fire burns temporarily blue and then turns to yellow. He makes a bow and mouths a quiet prayer. And walks away, allowing you all to do the same, if you wish.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll pour some water in there.
As you do so, he will say, shrine, the shrine of sure-footedness. Important as we come across. Some of the scree on the ground can be a problem to incoming travellers. This shrine seeks to
I'm sure of
aid
my
that
feet.
effect. You have advantage on all deck saves
Woohoo!
Wow.
on the shrine, and you will indeed have that 10 temp HP again. And he sort of smiles and nods and almost like brushes himself down, feeling the warmth as it comes. Oh. Callum, was it?
Yep.
Whilst usually it is my duty to answer questions, I can't help but ask at least one. This is a creation of yours? Gestures towards it.
Yes. It is, it's my life's work, basically.
Fascinating.
It's like his kid.
And incredible.
No. It's a suit.
You just hear Amon quite quiet in the background going, why does nobody ever ask about the demon armor or the blue guy? I'm always interested in the road. Just quietly in the background, but yeah.
Hey, no talking.
Yeah, keep it down back there.
One sentence and he's done for.
And we wonder why he doesn't talk because every time he does it, it's like, hey,
Silencing
shut your
him for
mouth.
the last
As
year.
when I hear Amon mutter that, I'll just turn to him and I'll turn to him and say, "You know, we're not the most fantastical things here, either of us. Not far off it, but
No, I agree. You're quite boring.
I don't know, I'm just a dude.
Ah, got his ass. Who hasn't seen demon armor, you know?
Alright.
I'm
Well,
just
no,
a
the
dude.
demon armor interests him, but the blue man doesn't.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I'm so
As
interested
you
about the demon armor.
as
You
you
never just
proceed
picked up demon
onwards-
armor off the ground.
no, I can't say I have. Can't say I would either. Who knows what you're becoming?
Ooh.
Yeah, totally not a demon, and drinks from my cup that says totally not a demon on it.
Yep. As you proceed further on up the mountain, you will once again see the small stick arrangements on the side of the road. As he passes the third one, he leans down, he looks at it. Strange. Okay. And he sort of notes the position of two particular sticks to himself and then gets up and carries on walking.
I hate that.
Can I see what's odd about the sticks.
Yeah, you can give me a world check. Do you?
Yes.
Give me a universe check.
No, what I really need is a sort of a navigation check, and I think Obi has proficiency in navigation tools. Does anybody else have proficiency in navigation tools?
I'm
He
not a
doesn't. It's
nerd.
cartography tools.
I believe he has a skill called cartography and navigation, Josh.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, can you give me that check? Ashrin, do you have proficiency in navigation tools?
Not currently. If I slept, I could.
It's a bit early in the morning for a night's sleep. In that case, you can just give me a nature check.
Freaking
Or
nature.
survival, or survival. You can choose between those, actually.
Oh,
It's
survival.
a world
yes.
check. It's an understanding of the world around you check, basically. 24, yeah, that'll do it. So, Obi makes a quiet remark about Talishus. Talishus being the smaller of the two moons. And a little unexpected in its placement. And as he says this, you will look at the stick alignment. You will also note that if you're following the pattern of where the previous stick alignments were, and indeed where the moons were in the sky, at this particular day, whenever these sticks were placed, and you're now beginning to realise that there are probably 30 of these for the number of days in the month, placed along the mountainside. So one who walks can walk along the month, if you like, of placements. This was perhaps 3 or 4 days ago. One of the moons was in a place a little further away than it should have been. And then you remember that night where Raveneska yanked a star out of the sky, the very god itself.
Oh,
Yes.
that thing.
And it would
Yeah.
seem that night cast strange happenings upon the sky. But it seems to be the first that this Solomon has noticed of it, and as he continues to walk.
Why isn't our moon called something?
Why isn't our moon called something?
Called
It's
something
called
cool.
Moon. It's
We
moon,
just
moon.
call it moon.
It's the moon, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
There's
the
only one.
moon.
Well, if there's only one moon in the sky, you don't need to name the moon, right? You just say it's the moon. But if there's 2 moons
Yeah, I
in the
know.
sky, then they need names. You can't just call them Big
I mean-
Moon and Small Moon.
There's other moons in our system.
Yeah, there are lots of
Yeah,
other moons, and
there
they all
are.
have names.
Yeah, but
But
ours
when
doesn't.
there's only one moon,
I mean,
you
it
only
has
need a name
plus.
for one moon. It does have
I know,
scientific
It has,
name,
it
but
has
it
different
doesn't have a
names
cool
also
name.
in multiple languages. So
Yeah, it doesn't have a cool name, though, does it?
Yeah, that's my point. It doesn't have a cool name.
Yeah, just in case anybody asks, I think it is somewhere in the documentation, but Galicia is the larger of the 2 moons.
Khaleesi's breaker of chain. Mother.
No, Galicia, nothing like Khaleesi. Jamal, that word literally means moon.
yeah, but I mean, it is literally a name. But yes,
No, it's not a name; it's a word. It means moon. The moons of
Yeah.
Jupiter are also called Luna. It's just they also have a name. Right.
Well, if you
very
think
well.
about it, our planet is called Earth, which just means dirt. So, you know.
Sorry, folks.
we-
Anyway, you're currently on AL, not on Earth, and the moons are called Galicia and Talishus. And Talishus was slightly out of kilter the night that Raveneska killed a god. So, shall we onwards?
Onward,
Yeah.
shall we?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you walk for a long period of time, and the guide says nothing. Doesn't ask you any questions. Doesn't say much or anything. Just walks companionably next to you. Does anybody interact with Solomon, or are we kind of sticking on Ashrin's assumption that
Yeah, I'm a bit
he is the
scared.
mountain?
But then, like, so the
I'm
thing
not
is, it's
scared
like,
of
don't
him.
ask questions of the mountain because a mountain will respond, right?
We'll answer in full, yes.
Yeah, which is some like veiled threat.
No, it's not. It's a parable, which is a story told for the purpose of a moral. Obi deciphered all of this for you before, which was don't be too arrogant in your taking on of the mountains. If when you are walking in the mountain you find the journey too tough, stop. Don't keep trying. It will result in your death.
Then why aren't we
that's-
asking this guy questions?
Because Laura decided it might mean something more.
I just
Sorry,
threw out the
Ashrin decided
possibility.
it might be something more.
Jesus.
I no longer believe that this man is suspicious.
Good.
No,
That's
he's
really
suspicious.
convenient for the
He's
DM.
He's suspicious. He's suspicious.
And so I
This is such a typical D&D. Can I just take us out of, like, behind the fourth wall?
Oh, yeah,
It's such a
it
typical
really is.
D&D situation where I'm like, I sent you a guide to answer your questions, and you guys are like, we shouldn't ask him any questions,
No.
guys.
Okay,
He might
but
be
you
the
can't-
mountain.
You can't put right before this, don't ask the mountain questions. Be like, here's a guy to answer all of your questions out
Right.
of nowhere.
It says, do not ask questions of the mountain. Does he look like a mountain to you? He's a fucking monk in a brown robe.
Okay, yes,
Solomon,
the
what you
mountain-
asking
The
him?
dwarf doesn't look like
Yes,
a mountain.
I would just like to ask him what he knows of the troubles between the giants and the Aasimar at the temple.
Devastating. Such a sad story. So, first of all, what was it, 2-3 months ago? Now, a single giant came to visit the temple, as is the tradition. Once every 200 years, though it seems that the monks themselves had forgotten. The guides
What,
had
you
not.
knew? Oh, the guides did.
We told them that this was an arranged visit. And the guards were not to be deterred. They refused the giant entry. The giant was angry and raised his hand in wrath. In return, they fired arrows upon him. The giant seemed proud, if you will, and offended at this turn of events.
Seems like he had right to be.
Who made this decision to go against tradition?
The guards refused entry.
But someone must have given the guards that order.
He nods, almost encouraging you to keep asking along that question line.
But he
and
can't
says,
say.
yes, the guards
Oh.
refused entry. Who told the guards?
Shoot 'em.
An excellent question.
So the priests knew that the
They were
giant was
told.
coming, and it was
They were
arranged.
told by the guides. We have been in
And
place a
were
long
the
time.
priests welcoming of this, or accepting of this?
The giant never spoke with the priests. The guards refused entry.
But the priests knew.
One would assume it to be so. No,
Are you bound to not speak of the details?
I cannot enter the temple, so I have not spoken with the priests.
But why?
That is not my role, not my place. I am not a worshipper of the Lord of Light, the God of Light, the Founder.
But you
The
serve
boss.
them.
No, I do not. I serve the
Then
temple.
who's your boss?
I have no boss, so to speak. The guides serve the temple as we always have.
The temple's his boss.
The
In a
mountain
manner
is
of
his
speaking.
boss.
That makes things difficult.
In a manner of speaking, perhaps the everlasting flame is the boss, but perhaps you might see it as I am bound by tradition, and that alone. My duty is only to myself, as with my brothers. There are 8 of us. We have served as the guides for many millennia. We will continue to do so, I'm sure.
I see.
Sorry. Millennia?
Not me
I'm sorry.
personally.
Half elf.
Bullshit.
My father, my grandfather, my grandfather's grandfather.
Millennials?
Before. We served once the Aasimar, and after that the Giants, and after that the Aasimar once again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Our role has never changed. We are but the guides.
They serve whoever's in charge of the temple at the moment.
Ashton's just having a moment trying to figure out where the wives of the priests came from.
I also
Just
have
in order
one
for
to
them to
ask
keep having
Carol.
children.
Did you ask
where
anything
priests
about that?
come from.
Do you ask
So
about that?
Astrid, when a mommy
Astrid, go on.
priest and a daddy priest live
What
Who's
mummy
your
priest?
mother?
My mother is a young elven woman. She lives down in the place that James has forgotten the name of. Wait a second. I
Maybe
need
the full
the
name for a
Sogravia
town.
map. I think it's Serenia, but I'm going to have to double check before I give you the name of a place in Draftnor Keep. Yes, it is Serenia.
Wow.
Yes. Taloria is the other with the two I was between. Yes, Serenia. We don't serve for our whole lives.
Oh, okay.
Just for 30 years.
How long you been serving?
This will be my 24th year.
Congratulations. Wow.
Thank you.
What are you going to do when you're done?
Have some children of my own, I hope.
Okay. Respect.
So he will tell you in quite a lot of detail that they serve from their 30th to their 50th year if they have blood of the long-lived, they call it. So if they have elven blood, dwarvish blood, Vidalcan blood, anything like that. If they are of the shorter-lived races, they serve from their 20th to their 40th year.
Right.
That's
I forgot. You
20
said
years.
he's like half elf. Right. So
Yes.
he'll be alive for a long time.
You're right, sorry. 20th to their 40th year if they're short-lived, 30th to their 60th year if they're long-lived. So he will serve 30 years if they're long-lived, 20 if they're short-lived.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Why not? Great time to have kids. I love that.
It's a challenge to have kids at 42, 43, but they seem to
Nah,
manage it.
he'll be alright.
He will inform you
He'll
that the
be fine.
guards that the guides are all male.
Okay. So a guy, if I'm understanding correctly, a guide was sent to escort the giant. So the giant didn't really ask questions or get the lay of the land.
He told you that the guide didn't have a language in common with the giant.
Oh, okay.
They couldn't find a language to converse in, so the giant was led in silence.
Okay.
The giant expected the guide expected the giant, but they didn't have a way to converse.
Wow, they should have thought of this if they were expecting them.
Pictionary, maybe?
He's
And then the guide.
Dictionary.
He looks you. The language of the giants has evolved beyond that we once spoke. We no longer speak it.
And when the guide reached the guards of the temple and said, "Stop, this man's got a right to be here," they all just said no.
They
How
fired-
about no?
They fired upon
Yeah,
the
we should-
giant and denied him entry.
We should talk to that guide in particular, I think. Is he still alive? Did he survive? He's,
But
okay.
I have his memories.
Oh, wait a minute.
Are you Geth?
Oh wait, what?
Oh my fucking god. Immediately jumps to Mass Effect,
I
really.
know,
Oh,
completely different.
I said-
He's talking
that's- yeah,
sci-fi
yeah,
now.
no. He will say important memories between us are shared. That is how we remember the
Oh, well
important
then
details
you
of the
can
past.
tell us.
He led
Fair Legion.
the giant to the gates. The guide entered alone. There, you will see when you age, there is an outer wall which you can approach through. We do not enter the temple itself, but we do pass through the outer wall. Through the outer wall, he spoke with a single man, a captain, I believe, with the name of. Let me just pull it up for you. With the name of Vargas. An Aasimar. We told him the coming of the giant, and Vargas said that the giant will be denied entry. When my brother argued that the giant must be allowed in, as they visit every 200 years to relight the eternal flame. And God told him that he could leave now.
Well, he was fired or just
No,
dismissed?
he was dismissed from the walls.
Why does the temple have guards?
To defend from giants, perhaps? He smiles and... at
The
least
giants
that's
that
what
come
they're
every
doing
200
now.
years.
Wow.
No, he
I
points
see.
out that that's what they're doing now, defending from the giants.
Why were they there before?
The Aasimar and those of the Furin God have always been a martial sort. But you do have to wonder how often a temple at the top of a mountain is attacked. That being so, the giants had
Literally.
gods. The Aasimar had gods before them.
Dare I say a temple atop a mountain is only attacked when a holy giant is left out.
Yes. An overabundance of men, I think, is the reason for all the gods. they don't hit each other with sticks every now and again, how else would they release their tensions?
They should send these guys to the fight that actually counts instead of starting fights here in our own borders.
Nah, they just die.
I mean, they fended off a giant.
He looked at you and do
Right.
not be so quick to judge. Whilst they do not spend much time in actual battle, the Furin Guard are unparalleled warriors. Especially those in their most precious of temples. Most of them
Sounds
swear
like-
a vow of silence and train for 16 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
Well, they're most definitely dedicated. You can say that.
That sounds actually great with all the fighting going on in the other stations. Send these permanently silent guards to go, deal with the Magus Arcane and things
Right.
like that.
Their
Sounds like we
garrison
had
is
talked to this
small, but they will be a
captain.
formidable force.
Yeah.
He is an unusual. He thinks for a while. He is neither priest nor god, but something in between.
A priest cop.
There are two of them.
Priest.
Only two. They are the captains of the guard, but they also serve within the temple. The other guards do not.
So the other guards are also not allowed in the temple?
They go into the temple to worship, but they don't serve in the temple. They're not.
Oh.
They're not priests in any way. They are just guards. These two, he's told you about
Oh,
Vargas.
they're
He'll tell you
priests
the other
and
one's
guards.
name is Corius. I think. Let me just double check that. Yes, Corius and Vargas are the two. You don't worry about writing them down. I will give you them their Roll20 things in a minute. But yes, Corius and Vargas are both guards and priests.
This is unusual thing you say. So they're like the
There
first.
is only two of them. No, these roles have always existed. I just mean that
Okay.
there are many priests
Got
and
it.
many guards, but only these two find a place in between. They are very pious and quick to judgment and quick to violence.
Yeah. Would you say they're in charge at the temple? Is there any rank higher than them?
They are in charge of the guards.
Mm-hmm.
They are most certainly not in charge of the temple.
Right. Excuse my phrasing.
I would believe they answer to the priests, though. I cannot tell a huge amount without going inside. For us to become involved in temple politics would detract from our purpose.
Alright.
However, I believe you should speak to these guards about your giant problem. These two captains, Vargas and Corius. You could also speak to some of the temple leaders. Those with the most influence are probably Juriel and Bernard. Juriel
What
is the
were those
temple's...
names?
Juriel. You will get these in a bit, but Juriel and Bernard. Juriel is the temple's spiritual guide. And
Oh,
Bernard
cool.
is the eldest. He looks at you and I think that's a title.
The elder? Yeah, okay.
Eldest, actually. But yes.
Oh, eldest.
He was 30 seconds
He
earlier.
thinks eldest is a title, not... It doesn't necessarily mean he is the oldest person in the place.
Got it. I will capitalize eldest. Alright. Thank you. Yes, I think this is good.
He gestures to the
leads
shrine
to
at the side of the
start on.
road and the shrine of air. A strange one. Difficult to understand sometimes. And he leads down to the bowl and he sort of breathes a long breath out into the bowl. And the flame turns silver and back to flame. he encourages each of you to do the same, and will tell you that altitude can cause problems with your breathing at this height. This will stave off the effect.
Gotta stop smoking, Glacius.
No, never.
As each of you joins in this shrine's gift, you will again receive this 10 temp HP. And go on.
His little exhaust pipes blow into the thing.
The being inside must breathe. Never forget that. It will be.
That's how
it'll affect you greatly in Australia.
Rationalize it. Like he has to have clean air come in, and it goes out through his little
exhaust
pipes.
Love that.
Yeah.
And after that little joke, what I'll also do is after I've breathed into the thing, I'll whip out my pipe and pack it with a little bit of pipe weed and just start smoking one as I head up.
Sorry, I needed to listen to that reminder to work out it was something important. Did you say something, Jamal, while I was muted?
Oh yeah, I was just joking. As they were joking about the smoking thing, I'll just after I've breathed into the thing, I'll whip out my pipe and pack it with a little bit of pipe weed and just start smoking for a little while as I head up.
The monk nods towards it and will tell you an excellent way of staving off altitude sickness too.
Oh,
really?
Wow.
Yeah. Do you know what's actually true in real life as well? So they say you smoke weed when you're high, but well, you get high when you're high. if you smoke weed when you're high up, apparently it can help deal with altitude sickness. So they say.
Incredible.
I don't know if that's just a myth or if it's actually truth, but it's certainly something that my stepdad told me about. Basically, he climbed Kilimanjaro about 30-40 years ago, and somebody offered him marijuana to deal with altitude sickness. He didn't make it to the top because he was on altitude sickness.
That's remarkable. Okay. Well, in that case,
anyway.
I will offer some to everyone, including our guide.
He will refuse on the grounds that he spends as much time at this altitude as anywhere else. But yes, he will also make a gesture towards the cloud, which is now sort of eerily about 40 foot above you. And it's thick and swirling. You will see that it is constantly moving. And when you look out, it's like the cloud clings to the mountain, because only sort of 200 or 300 foot out, the cloud stops. It is then higher up elsewhere. Or lower down. And, like, it's spread around, whereas this cloud seems almost in a fixed position. And the guide, Solomon, will tell you that there is one more shrine before we go through the cloud. We'll keep you nice and dry.
Oh, good.
But usually best to take your offering here. And he will bend down, he will take a sort of little handful of a tuft of grass growing by the roadside.
I'll copy him.
Yep.
I'll take some of Zavril's weed.
No, he needs to smoke that.
But as you
offer it.
as you reach this final shrine, or this final shrine before you go through the cloud, you will note that the rocks in this shrine have been painted a pale blue colour. And as you offer this grass, the flame sort of goes a very dark blue and almost seems to ripple, looking a bit more like water than fire, and then goes back to fire. And indeed, you will find that your skin feels almost oily to touch. And if you were to tip your water skin onto your arm, it would be water repellent. So the water droplets would just sit there and move around. Have you ever seen water repellent stuff, materials? It looks really weird, right? Yeah, it's like
I put
that.
it on my windshield.
Dang.
You've got it on your windshield.
Yeah.
Sick.
You put some Rain-X on it, so that way when you're driving, it just
Incredible.
instantly comes off. You don't even have to use your wipers.
Wow.
That's so cool.
That's really
actually
cool.
shook.
I'm very jealous. It's always raining here. It is always raining here. That would be amazing.
All right, I'll send you a bottle of Rain-X then. How's that?
Yeah, I'll look it up on Amazon. But anyway, as you take your water repellent selves into the cloud line, you'll be almost completely blind. And the guide will gesture towards you and say, this is why the shrine lets you glow. And you will note that you are still glowing. And so you can make out each other in the cloud so that you can follow. And indeed, he is glowing, and he will lead the way. He appears not to need any sort of bearings at all. He just walks with confidence through the cloud line. And as you ascend through the clouds, we will take a short break. Be right back. Hello and welcome back to the second half of episode 36 of Sogravia, the Last Bastion. As we were walking through the cloud, finally, as you emerge upon the other side, that view you've been waiting for greets you.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
There
what?
she is.
It is a little like this, but slightly not, because there is one
It's
thing
not
missing in
like
this
this.
image. There is a wall around the top of the clouds, and as you reach the top of the cloud line, you will see the walled area around the citadel. You are greeted by a singular Aasimar with large angel-like wings. Salty, hello.
Hi, Salty.
Welcome in. So apparently, he's waiting to finish the ad. Yeah, should have subscribed. You did. Welcome back to the Quack Pack for 11 months. That's almost a year. Almost at 100,000 points so you can get your letter. I'm glad to see it. Well, we finally reached the Cloud Temple, and I'm not sure which one of those two things has taken longer. Anyway, up we get, and you are greeted by an Aasimar with great angelic white feathered wings and a single sword in his hand. He approaches the guide, and Solomon simply says, "As expected, though missing one."
Oh.
He had business.
You didn't approach the mountain with Fox. There is no reason for the guide to know you are missing one. He has made no mention of it at any point on this journey up the hill.
Kill him!
Fox has not been discussed. But regardless, the gates open wide, and you are allowed to enter.
You know.
The guide states to the man at the gate that you are interested in speaking to Corius and Vargas first, and then Juriel and Bernard.
Yes.
Bernard.
The guide will simply
Bernard.
gesture across the courtyard to a man. He appears to be in his latter days. He has huge wings and is holding a sword of pure flame. And as he steps over, "I understand you want to speak to me.
Whoa.
Which one are you?
I am Corius."
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh my
Who is he in
God.
terms of like?
He is one of the two
Rank
captains
here.
of the guard. He was
Okay,
not
so
in
he is.
charge when the giant was attacked. The other one was.
I see.
He's one of the priest guards. Is that right?
He's a Final
Yes.
Fantasy
So
character.
these two captains of the guard are the two that are, don't have a vow of silence, and B are they serve in the temple and for the guards. And for some reason, our music just broke. So
we come
love
to
that.
discuss your relations with the giants.
we have no relations with the giants, other than the fact they were throwing rocks at us a couple of weeks back.
You're welcome for that. For
You
stopping,
true-
I mean.
You truly
Yeah, I'm taking
don't
credit.
know what's happened here with your men killing a giant.
I'd hardly call that relations, would you?
I would say that killing a giant worsens your relationship with giants. Yes.
Do you have a relationship with the Shadowhunters?
Yes, a tumultuous
Yeah.
one.
An entirely hostile one.
That's a
Well.
big word.
If you wish to paint it in that light, then indeed we have a sour relationship with the giants. That is true.
Relationship is to need good things.
I know, literally.
I don't suppose you'd like to explain why it was a tumultuous relationship?
Well, the histories dictate that we have been at war many times over this temple itself, and the eternal flame over there. And he gestures towards sort of like this bit of rock jutting out of the cloud, where upon it sits like a stand for a torch, but there is no torch burning inside it. You would gather that is where the eternal flame torch that the giants are meant to place is meant to be, but it's not there.
You guys seem to be missing something over there.
Oh dear.
Perhaps it's best you come inside. I have an office, if that will suffice.
Very well.
Sure.
He leads you
Nice.
into the temple proper and down a small corridor into a well-appointed room with everything seeming to be a bit low set. It is worth noting that no giant would fit in this temple. The ceilings are 10 foot tall. Nevertheless, the
Sid
steps
can't fit.
up... Yeah, I mean, he's having to stoop.
He can crouch.
Yeah, but the steps up that piece of rock with the tripod on it are giant-sized.
Aww.
Everything in this room is kind of low set, and he sits on a cushion behind a flat desk that is perhaps only a foot off the ground. He gestures for you to take cushions as you will from around the room and take a seat.
I'll take my
The
seat.
decision was made that no longer would the giants be welcomed into the temple.
Why is that?
An excellent question.
Thank you.
It is my belief, idiot.
I don't really say that. I don't really say that.
It is my belief that the Aasimar felt threatened. Given the nature of the past, during this time of war, it was judged sensible to keep the giants outside of the temple gates. It is difficult to know who to trust at these times, and decisions can be made rashly. Do you
So
speak on behalf of the
because-
giants? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your question, please.
I'm just because there's war with things that are not giants. It was decided that the one giant that comes every 200 years would be denied access and forcefully removed.
I believe the decision was made to keep the gates closed on the basis that the Shadowhunters employ many different agents. And there are things protected here that must continue to remain so. That being said, it was never meant to break into violence.
Who decided that the giants were no longer welcome here? You said that you said that it was decided, but
I
who decided?
believe the decision came from the top. That would be Banar. Or perhaps Juriel.
Are they here?
They would be in the temple. You may speak to them. You may wish to speak to my counterpart too. He was in charge the day that the giant was attacked.
If you could lead us to him, we'd very much appreciate that.
It is best that he and I do not cross paths.
Oh.
But I can give you directions.
Thank you. And thank you
Why?
for speaking with us.
if you don't mind me asking.
Let us just say that he and I have had many disagreements since that day as to how the matter was handled.
And what side of the coin do you fall?
Clearly, as I was not the one on duty when the giant was killed, the other one.
Just because you wasn't there doesn't
That
mean
spells it
that
out
you
as clearly as it
didn't-
ever needs
Well,
to be.
he's pointing out that he's furious that that Vargas allowed the giant to be killed.
Okay.
Like, that's what he's saying. Like, nobody should die for a misunderstanding, but a misunderstanding of this level could precipitate a second war. When we are already
It
at
already
war.
started.
And I am very grateful if you have helped diffuse the situation even slightly.
Well, depending on your guys' actions, will depend on how long we've diffused it for.
I assumed that would be the case. You might speak with Vargas for a better understanding of what happened on the day, but truthfully, the decisions made come from the temple proper. It is without a doubt that Vargas was not ordered to slay the giant, merely to deny them entrance.
Well, we should talk to him, get his side as well, just to
By all means,
get all
do.
the information we can.
I'm sure you will find him pleasant company. Do you wish refreshment?
I'm fine, thank you.
I'm fine, thanks.
When you leave this
Actually,
room,
what do you have?
Yeah, you got
Can I
appy
what's in
juice?
that bottle over there?
at your meeting with Vargas, I can arrange for a simple fare to be produced. Would that be
That
to your
would be
liking?
great, actually.
Excellent. You will
Sounds
find
like
the
I'm
building symmetrical.
thirsty.
If I show you back to the main door, do you think you could find the same office on the other side of the building?
I believe we can.
I mean, how hard can it be?
He sort of nods as if to say it is literally a corridor. Like, it's pretty hard to fuck up.
We're really dumb.
He will
We'll
lead you
find a
back to
way.
the main door, and he will speak very quietly with a guard who doesn't respond, but heads on in to the temple. And indeed, as you follow the path up the other side, very quickly somebody seems to be rushing in to place drinks upon the floor around the area.
I think that's where we're supposed to go.
There are pitchers of water and pitchers of juice being prepared. The juice,
kind of juice?
Is a pale orange color, almost yellow. Doesn't appear to be any fruit that you recognize.
Is there any pulp in it?
No, the smell is
Oh, it's all
quite sharp and citrusy.
Ooh.
interessante.
I will have a glass.
Yes, it tastes nothing like anything you've ever tasted before.
This is
Whilst it is
fantastic.
incredibly sharp and citrusy, there is a slight sweetness to the end of it. It's almost like a kiwi, but a citrus kiwi.
That sounds good.
You no idea what this fruit is.
Wow.
I know what a kiwi is.
Yes, but this isn't a kiwi.
I know, I'm
After a
just
little
saying, I've seen
while,
it in the
small bread rolls that are a little sweet to the taste, with sweetmeats and hams and regular meat are placed on a large platter at the center.
I was
You
really
will
hoping you
notice.
say they just roll in.
You will notice that small pieces of linen are placed in front of it. It seems that you collect your food on the piece of linen, and that is your plate, so to speak. Vargas is nowhere to be seen. You are left in this room, just the group of you with refreshments.
What do we think, gang? And Callum starts digging in.
I think someone either made the order or someone went too far.
Well, I think 100% someone made the order. From the sounds of it, it sounds like even if both captains don't agree on the outcome, both of them still agreed to an extent that giants weren't to be let in. So that is 100%, like, I think we can establish is a fact.
That made no sense to me at all. I'm not gonna lie.
The
That was like a lot of words that didn't mean anything. Are you saying
that
that
we just-
they definitely received an order and they followed?
They
it?
definitely received an order to keep
Yeah.
the giants out.
Of course.
They-
I meant
Well, no,
order
that's
to
what I'm
kill.
Oh yeah, order to kill.
That's what I'm
yet to
saying.
be
It's,
seen.
it was either an order to kill or this guy we're about to talk to went too far.
And you were told by Corias that it was certainly not an order to kill. Though whether you believe him or not is, you know.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
Or
to
being
the.
cahoots with
We
each
gotta
other.
talk to the higher ups to see if they're old and petty. If they are, then maybe.
Maybe. Their, like, initial motivation, I don't think is wholly incorrect, you know, to be wary of Shadow Veil influence.
Yeah, but
I
like
think
real-
from that it was manipulated and taken to an extreme.
You were
Yeah.
also
There
told
were-
that. Sorry, go on, Laura.
Move.
There were other ways to do this. They could have kept him under guard as he moved through toward where he needed to
Yeah,
put the torch.
exactly.
There were other answers than don't let him in.
Well,
It doesn't make
and
sense.
Josh, you said.
You would have thought that for a group that has contact with giants, there'd be someone here who'd be able to communicate with them.
They hadn't had contact for 200 years, and you were told
know,
that
but
the
they-
previous incumbents weren't currently present. It was a new group who came from the east.
Sure, but surely they knew about it.
And
They
what
were
about
told
the
by the
guides? Do they not have, like, you said they have each other's memories?
And yet he said that
the
the
language
giant
had changed.
exactly
Oh, and
the giant tongue had evolved beyond their capacity to speak it in just
Wow.
200 years. You would know that this is partly because of the Shadow Veil taking over Mistralia, right? So there's all sorts of different giants who weren't here before, have come from all around Mistralia to reside in Sogravia, because the Shadow Veil have rid the land of everyone.
But
There's no other
blended
land.
the language.
Exactly. So you've got, whereas you used to just have, perhaps, just an example, it might have only ever been storm giants that they communicated with, and now they're dealing with cloud giants, and it's a completely different version of the tongue.
But, like, realistically, how long is the giant gonna be? Like, if the giant was taken over by Shadow Veil and wanted to get in, like, it would. But also, like, how long can it be in there to then mess around with things? Because he was saying, like, oh, yeah, there's things in here we want to keep secret, protected from the Shadow Veil. But it's like, he's maybe here for a day, and he can't even fit in the temple.
What makes you think that? What makes you think he'd only be here for a day?
Well, it's just to
You
come
have not
like
been
work,
told...
isn't it?
No, you haven't been told at all how long they stay for, at any point.
Fair, but, I mean, he still can't fit in the temple, so he'd have to, like...
But the courtyard he can, and at the place of... You've got to remember, this picture isn't exact, right? There is a walled area around here, right? Which is, like, flat. He could fit in the courtyard itself. And not only that, but there's giant steps up here to where the torch is. So he could easily sit in front of that torch for at least 24 hours, right?
Too shy.
Oh, and we don't know what the whole thing is that the giant does. Like, with the torch before, doing whatever they do after, it could be something that affects the area. Also, if they were turned to the Shadow Veil, they could just be like, oh yes, I'm going to go to the torch, and then boom, throwing boulders at the temple. There's some logic to being wary, but murder, I think not.
You continue this discussion for another half an hour.
Lord.
And a man comes in.
How rude.
A young-looking priest. He looks like an acolyte. Is in a white robe. He's not got wings. And he just says, Lord Vargas is aware of your presence.
Do you know how long he'll be?
I'm afraid I do not.
Could you
You know
take
if
us
he
to him?
intends to talk to us?
He has said he will receive you.
Can you lead us to him?
I'm afraid not.
Why not?
The area of the temple that Vargas is in is sealed to outsiders. I'm sorry. If I can offer you anything while you wait.
We're fine, thank you.
Some more of this juice at least.
I will bring along another.
It's been like half an
immediately.
hour, right?
Of course.
You're gonna have to go to the toilet soon.
I don't do that. I'm not.
You're gonna have to release the oil
He looks at you
soon.
and the Quavat juice is quite unique to this area. It grows only in the highest of treetops above the mountains.
Oh
It is
man.
a juice that I truly enjoy too. I'll bring along 2 pitchers immediately. And if there is anything else, please do not hesitate to ask.
Thank
I
you, this is
apologize for the
fantastic.
inconvenience of your wait. He goes and gets
It's
2 more
alright.
jugs and bows very deeply. And please, if there's anything else, I'll be waiting just outside.
I'll pull out a deck of cards and say, alright, time for some poker.
Sign me up.
Poker, I hardly know her.
You wait
Alright, can I
Another-
throw Sullivan off the top?
You wait another half an hour, almost precisely to the minute, before that priest once again ducks his head inside. Vargas is aware of your presence. I'm sure that he will be along
jeez.
shortly. I'm so sorry for the wait. Is there anything else I can get you?
Do
I
you know
mean,
what
is
he's?
there?
Do you know what he's doing?
He's
I'm afraid
just
I do not.
putzing about. He's wasting our time on purpose. And Callum will say this out loud.
The priest,
is there any-
doesn't respond, but you can see him sort of. His face becomes a mask, as if he's trying not to let any of his emotions be visible.
Can you show us around the temple? Give us a tour?
If you would remain but 5 minutes, I will go and seek permission to show you to some of our open areas. Would that suffice?
Very well.
Sure.
Just
He
'cause you're
goes
losing
off, and
a
you
poker
hear his
song
feet
there.
move quite quickly along the corridor, and then he comes back quite soon. And it'll be my pleasure to show you to some of the oldest parts of the temple. There are some areas of the temple that are sealed to those who are not in practice here.
Even though we can't go to those places, can you inform us of what they are and what they're used for?
There are some that I have access to, and I can tell you about them. But first, if I might show you to the blossom tree.
I'd love that.
And he takes you out into the courtyard to a large pink cherry blossom. He sort of smiles, and you can see this is the first time he's not felt awkward or embarrassed. And he said, "The blossom
This is
tree.
his day job.
The blossom tree flowers once every 100 years.
Wow.
It is due next year.
Is it currently in bloom?
No, it is due next year.
Ah.
It is quite the
Damn it,
sight
we're
I'm
early.
told, and I so look forward to seeing it. But in the meantime, it is still quite beautiful. It still remains its pink blossoms, but it doesn't have fruit and flower coming from it.
How long does the blossoming last?
The entire year,
I see.
from spring until spring.
We're going to make a mental note that if we get this all cleared up within a year, to bring, hopefully, my then wife here.
Would be a good place to get married.
Literally, Callum's writing a note right now to bring his wife here if they ever make up.
Beautiful. And he sort of gives thanks before the tree and sort of says, the tree is the oldest living thing within these temple grounds. It has bloomed 14 times to date.
Oh.
Which would make the tree 1,499 years old.
Wait, did he say it was every 200 years?
Every 100 years it blooms.
100.
Oh, 100, okay.
So it has bloomed 14 times to date, and its 15th time will be next year.
Do we know what race this guy is?
He's an Aasimar, not winged.
Okay, so he lives a long time. Oh no.
100-ish.
Okay,
I don't think Aasimar lived much longer than that. I'd have to.
because I want to
double-check.
ask if he's seen it, if he
Yeah,
saw
I
it
think
bloom
they're
last
regular.
year.
No, he has told you he has never seen it bloom
He's
before.
not, okay.
I can guarantee you he is 30 years old.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I would have to look at the Aasimar race to see how long they generally tend to live for.
Millennia.
No, it's definitely
It's
not.
not millennia.
It's definitely not that.
I want to say it's like 100.
Up
maybe
to
120.
160.
Yeah, okay.
It's
So
a
they're
Maya.
more long-lived
Not
than
his
humans.
30.
Yes, there will definitely be Aasimar here who have seen it bloom, but he is a brand new acolyte. He's young. He's probably been here a couple of years. And he sort of nods and perhaps next to the yes, let's take you to the Prevel.
That's all we can show you.
And he leads you around to the back of the temple, where there is a large.
On the way,
Okay.
I wanted to ask if Vargas doesn't want to see us. Could we possibly speak to? I'm just trying to find those other two names. you
Juriel and
mentioned. I was
Banner?
like, Jury, yes.
It is the
Bernard.
belief of the priest that you should speak to the captains first.
Oh
I'm
wow.
sure
they're,
Vargas
you
will be
know,
along when they can. He definitely is part of the priesthood, and you can tell he's incredibly embarrassed that Vargas is making you wait. Make of that what you will. He leads you to the back of the temple, and there is a large stone epitaph. It's like a huge tablet that rises out the ground. It's about a foot in thickness, and it's about 8 or 10 foot wide, and about 15 foot tall. And it's just this big stone, basically rectangle. And you will note that writing is appearing on it and disappearing, and appearing on it and disappearing, and appearing on it and disappearing constantly. These are the prayers of the Aasimar. Every prayer appears in Celestial very briefly upon him. You will notice, those of you who read Celestial, Obi and Ashran specifically, there are prayers for my wife's health to improve, for us to live another year before in safety, for my daughter's foot to get better. You know, lots of simple prayers. But then every now and again, one sort of glistens a bit in like sort of gold writing, and these seem to be prayers of thanks, or occasionally they seem a bit more ritualistic, or...
I wish these outsiders were gone from the temple.
Well, you do get the impression that they are ones made by the priests. They seem to ring with more power, more volume, more voice. No one knows when the prayer wall first came to existence. Perhaps pertinent to your visit, I have heard that when the giants were in residence, that the prayer wall was not in Celestia. Though the scholars argue whether that is true.
So it might take the prayers and language of the residents of the temple?
Perhaps. Or perhaps
Funky.
our eldest could tell you about how it is coordinated.
Right.
Benhar is very wise. Some of you bear arms. Would you care to see the sacred swords?
I'd love
Ooh,
that.
yes, please.
You will perhaps have seen one
Glacius and
already.
Callum are
Um,
immediately just like, ew.
You will have perhaps seen one in Chorus's hands when he met you with you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, the flame
That shit
blade.
looked badass as fuck.
In a church, Glacius.
Not yet. You're on the outside of the temple grounds, and he will lead you to a separate building.
right now.
He'll lead you to a separate building, which is almost like a tower, and placed around it are countless hilts with no blades. You would assume that the blades are of flame, and would
that
manifest
makes
in the
sense.
hands of an Aasimar.
Could-
But there are
could I-
countless hilts.
Could I try one?
Unfortunately, these are blades of those who have passed before. I believe we have some recently forged that have not yet had a master. And then he will walk over and he will ask one of the guards, who has stood sort of rigidly outside, if perhaps you might be allowed to hold one of the hilts. The guard nods and moves to a cabinet, which he unlocks. And you will see that two of these are unfinished. They're still in the process of being forged. But he will hand you one that is finished. Give me a charisma save, please.
I'd love to.
Oh.
Can I say 29?
Wow, that's pretty good.
Giant flaming sword for Solomon.
The guard moves over and he sort of places his hand like this, diagonally across his chest. And then slowly lowers it. The priest watches for a moment and nods. I believe he is saying you must let down your guard. The sword reads your soul.
Oh. Then I will let my soul be as open as it wants to be. My soul is such a slut. Just open its hole.
God, Sullivan, cover your soul.
Yeah, for a moment, the sword burns with a deep red flame, that of the Dawn God, before extinguishing.
Oh, bastards.
Oh, can't do that to
The
him.
priest nods and looks at you, and if you had chosen to devote yourself here, you would be more than worthy to carry this sword. Stepping past you,
Sullivan,
Aman
switch
sort of,
beliefs.
might I try?
Wow.
Oh,
Hey,
stepping
no
on my
talking.
toes.
The man nods and gestures for you to hand the hilt to Aman.
Ugh, reluctantly.
You see Aman sort of hold it and turn it around in his hand and smile for a moment. And the sword burns with a deep purple flame.
Wow.
And you see a man sort of close his eyes and concentrate quite hard. And the flame burns bright white. A man's features have changed ever so slightly, and you will see, although his eyes are nearly closed, a slight burning of gold at the corner of his eye.
What the heck is he doing?
Come in, ask.
Yeah.
He's faking being an Aasimar.
He's so fake.
And he turns to you. He turns to you and it's... Your soul could serve. Nonsense. The sword's racist. And he hands it back. He says this out loud and hands it back to the priest.
Alright, well, we're all trying.
The priest
I wanna
sort of
try.
flushes deep red and like...
It's going to rebuke you.
Oh, 100%. I really
Oh,
hope
yeah.
it explodes in
I
my
kind
hand.
of want to see Glacius.
The priest
try.
places the sword in Glacius' hand. Glacius, do you choose to fail and let your soul be bared, or would you like to make a Christmas save? To avoid it reading you.
I'll open it.
Oh.
Glacius was a man of faith at one time.
Yep. A small sputter of smoke comes out of it.
I mean, I thought it was
That
gonna
is all.
explode in my hand.
And that is
so-
all.
What would it mean to... What was
Not
it?
bad.
They said that I could do...
If you had have devoted yourself to the priest said, if you devoted yourself to Lathander, it would have burst into flame. But a man says that it's nonsense, and without being a Furion Guard, you never could have commanded it.
Wait, without being a Furion Guard?
Without being it was Furion Guard Aasimar.
Oh, okay. I was
So
about to say,
both devoted to
I'm a
the cause
Furion.
and Aasimar.
Is this true? I'll ask
Callum,
the
you want to
priest.
try?
And the priest sort
Do
of
you have a
moves
soul?
his head from side to side, and
Obviously.
it is believed that anyone can devote themselves to the good god Lathander. Though all of our gods are Aasimar. There might be truth to your words. I must think on this. And you can see he's trying to be open-minded, and like, he doesn't want to criticize his order. He's only been there for 2 years, right? But at the same time, he wants to learn everything, and he genuinely wants to be truthful and honest.
So disappointed.
Would
Bunch
anybody
of
else like to try the
racist.
hilt?
Astrid?
Callum?
Well,
did
no,
you say you
Callum
would?
said he's gonna try. 'Cause he has a soul.
Alright, fine. But I'm not. I don't care what this stupid sword says. But Callum is clearly self-conscious. But he's gonna grab the sword.
Okay. Would you like to try and resist its intrusions, or let it read your soul?
I don't think a charisma save will go well for me either way, so go ahead.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
Once again, it sort of sputters a little bit of smoke. No real effect.
Yeah,
but
you know, I
give me
didn't
an Arcana
expect
check.
it. I see right through this thing's tricks. Is what I say.
These racist tricks.
I only got an 11. Callum is
Yeah, you get the impression that it doesn't seem like a holy artifact. It seems like a magical item. But you're not
Checks
quite
out.
sure what the activation is. Maybe it is indeed to be an Aasimar. Anybody
on,
else?
right, this
Sell
thing's
it.
racist.
Anybody else want a sword?
I would like to see what happens, see if it sort of interacts in a weird way with the fact that I've got this plane of shadow within me.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
scared.
if it's
It really
going to
will
explode on
explode.
anyone.
Yeah.
Zavril, do you take this hilt of the sword?
Do it.
Out of curiosity, yeah, sure.
Okay.
We
Give me a
are
dex,
Science.
screaming.
give me a dex save.
Woohoo!
Dex save. Okay.
You
Oh,
will
you
have
have
advantage
advantage.
from the water.
And you've got plus
Okay.
5.
Cat, can you stop? I'm trying to fucking do stuff.
The most
Every time I
reluctant
put him
plus
down off the
5.
desk, he gets back on. Right, okay. Dex save with the plus 5 is going to be a 22.
Yeah.
Wow.
The
fantastic.
sword burns hot. You are able to let it go before it deals you any damage, but you do drop it.
Ooh, Zavril.
The guard reacts incredibly, almost inhumanly quickly to catch it before it hits the ground.
It's like
And
an
then raises it
American
back up. And the sword briefly bursts into flame, and then the sword briefly bursts into flame before he sort of like lets the flame go again, and
Whoa.
he gives you a look. And then sort of stands almost to put his back to you, Zavril, to exclude you from the circle. You remember he can't speak.
I was gonna say, can't this guy not talk? So like, he's just
Amazing.
gonna
The
sit
The
there
priest
and get...
sort of looks at you and... Were you expecting a reaction like that?
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
I was curious.
We're all just
Honestly.
immediately just like, yeah, we knew this was gonna happen. We just wanted to see.
Unfortunately,
We
our
were
friend
playing.
here has been touched by Shadow.
I think cursed is the better word for it.
Goodness forbid. I must speak to my superior. And he walks away. Immediately.
Oh, now we'll get
Now,
Vargas' attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
to like
comes out here
start
with
a
the
fight with
guards.
us.
In the meantime, Obi reaches up to take the sword.
Yeah, Obi, take the sword.
And will choose to fail the charisma save.
Sounds like Obi.
Can you give me an Arcana check for Obi, please?
What if I chose to fail?
You did choose to fail the second time around, Josh. You let it
You
reach your soul.
succeeded incredibly the first time.
Sorry, I need the results, please.
Oh, sorry, 20.
Yep.
Dirty 20, dirty.
After a moment, Obi brings the sword to bear, and it burns exactly like the one did when Chorus was using it.
Whoa.
He is basically charging the sword himself with magic instead of with his faith or his soul. You would assume that Zavril could have done this the same way. Perhaps Callum could have done if they rolled better on their Arcana check. So whilst it is a racist sword, you can fake it, basically.
Whoa, Obi, genius.
Omi sort of hands it back to the guard, who's now looking
Come on,
thoroughly put
Sullivan,
out.
why can't you not be a racist?
Callum,
Or racist.
What's
I don't
up?
know which one you need to be, honestly.
do you think you'd be able to craft a hilt that then produces a blade of pure energy?
Oh yeah, I mean.
What level can you make a flame tongue sword? Because you
Energy
definitely, it's
blade.
definitely on the artificer list, right?
I want a radiant
That's
one.
like. That's kid stuff. That's easy.
I like how Callum's just
Oh.
like never seen this before. It's just like, oh yeah, I can totally do this.
I didn't
Obi
realize
cracked
it was.
it.
I didn't realize it was so obvious. Would you be able to make me one, possibly that has radiant energy?
Oh wow. Well, maybe. It has to do with.
Yeah, prerequisite,
you know,
6th level artificer.
You know, maybe you might have to drop the magic from that beautiful cloak you're wearing. Which is Callum's way of saying that I'm so full of slots. I could unmake the cloak and maybe make a sword instead.
I would be down for that.
Okay.
Wait,
I'd
what
love
cloak
it.
is Sullivan wearing?
Radiant sword's
protection.
actually not very good, though.
No,
Isn't it?
I think there's another. Well, I'll check the items.
Yeah, you can also do the enhanced weapon, which is just a +1. I don't think there's a sort of damagey sword. I don't know if you can replicate. On the replication ones, you might be able to make a flame tongue sword or flame tongue bolt sort of stuff. I don't know.
That's what I was imagining.
But
But I have to check.
imagine
There's
not.
so
It's
many
often
items you can
it's often
replicate.
not weapons. They're almost all items. But you and I can have a discussion on that out of
I was
session.
gonna say you can homebrew it. Come on, this is D&D.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It says alternatively you can choose the magic item from common magical items in the game.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, after a little while, Corius returns, and
hey.
turns to Zavril. Might I have a word, please?
Don't execute him, please. We still
He's
need
in
him.
trouble.
He leads you all the way back to that office. That first one. It is to my great sorrow that you have not yet been seen by Vargas.
Oh, okay.
The effrontery is
Quickly, who is it that
True.
we're talking to?
Corius, the
other
first of the
First
guards
guy.
that you
This is
spoke
the
to.
Final
guy.
Fantasy
It's
guy.
Chorus, yeah.
My compatriot here has told me that you have been touched by Shadow. I don't suppose you could expand on that. Have you ever been infiltrated by the Shadow Veil? Do they look through your eyes?
I do not know. It is just an assault by the plane of shadow itself. I am entirely under my own control. They exert nothing on me. They never will. I still have time. Though time is, dare I say, fleeting.
Well,
If I don't cure this, it will kill me. There is no doubt about it.
be that as it might, and he gestures, and a priestess comes into the room, a young female priestess. She has a nimbus of flame behind her head, almost like a halo. She smiles at you quite gently. This is Olivia. She will attempt to discern the nature of your curse.
By all means, Olivia. You may.
She places her hand on you, and for a moment you feel like almost like your blood has been turned to ice, very briefly, sort of from toe all the way to head, as she casts Diagnose upon you. And after which she sort of nods, turns to the priest. He's fine. So, unfortunate. And with that, she nods and leaves, and Corius, if nothing was detected, then perhaps we might be more worried. But the Shadow Veil seemed to be impervious to our detections. Anything we can detect, we're not so worried about. I apologize for the swiftness of this, but you understand, there are things that must be protected.
I do understand, and I also respect it.
Vargas has made you wait
Nonetheless,
quite
there
long
have been
enough.
some very clever people that have done some remarkable things to stave this off and buy me more time.
I'm glad for you. I wish you the best of health. In the meantime,
appreciate
Vargas has
that.
kept you waiting quite long enough.
I would very much like for this to be
Please,
handled because, as I say, time is in
Of the
fact
essence.
fleeting.
Yeah, we've been enjoying the tour, but yeah.
if you would
Yeah,
return to the
those
room where
swords
you were
are
waiting
really
before,
cool.
I will have him see you shortly. And he strides with quite a lot of purpose to the other side of the temple and begins to head down the stairs. After a while,
Sullivan,
you hear
should
some
devote
raised
yourself to
voices,
standing.
and then entering the room is this guy. He
Whoa.
is he is wearing no shirt at all. He has this sort of golden collar and golden armor. His wings are spread. He doesn't have a weapon in his hand, but you see his eyes burn almost with a constant flame as he looks around the room. Sir, who wished to speak to me?
Why are his nipples glowing?
Oh,
Wait,
no, 'cause he's a boy.
wait, you guys see I don't see a picture. What the hell?
Dude,
Okay.
that's why he doesn't wear a shirt.
Jeez. I know, they're
shit.
like glass.
Oh,
I respect him, actually.
God. You gotta respect the glowing nipples.
We are here to discuss what's happened with yourselves and the giants.
And in what manner are you relevant to this?
Oh, shit.
We're here before the giants launch an attack. We're trying to circumnavigate that.
You serve as diplomats on behalf of the giants.
We serve as diplomats on behalf of Sogravia.
A mighty title to ascribe yourself.
Thank you.
And your relevant title? Or...
My name's Elliot Sullivan. I am of the Dawn Guard.
I might have thought.
Shadowhunters.
Looks to the rest of you. And the rest of
Yeah, AKA.
The Shadowhunters.
We're the
Name's several.
Shadowhunters.
you? How is that, sir?
Name's Avril. Resident of the Megas Arcane.
Oh, goodness me, a conglomerate.
Indeed.
Okay, racist.
Passion, neutral party.
Listen, we don't have any fancy titles. We're just here on behalf of the
No, it
Giants.
should.
You
else
are
to
here on
play
behalf of
for
the
us.
giants?
We're
yeah.
here to broker peace between both sides.
There will be no terms.
You're not
They
in
will
charge
keep
here,
their peace.
though, right?
I am in charge of the defense of this citadel.
Yeah, but
Calling
you
this
can't
temple a
broker
citadel is real mighty.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
Sorry, you
this is-
said there will be
Citadel.
no terms, and then what was the following parts?
I am in charge of the defense of this citadel.
Hence why you murdered a visitor.
Hell yeah.
They raised their hand in wrath.
They probably raised their hand to ask a question, dude.
Spells were cast. My men felt it. So did I.
Oh yeah, what exactly did your men?
We were lit up with a light. And beyond that, we were...
It gets very fire.
Don't tell me they were scared of fairy fire.
after which, we were incapable of drawing our weapons for a moment.
Oh.
Frozen in place.
Oh, what?
Many of us resisted it, but some did not. It was an act of aggression.
Or an act of defense.
Yeah.
We had
last
raised
time
no
I
sword and no blade. No arrows were knocked.
Yeah,
There
but
was
you
nothing to
kept them
defend
out
against.
of his house.
It is not his house. There are things
But
here
you
that
must
must
have
be
known-
defended beyond your understanding.
You must have known about the pilgrimage that they take every 200 years.
So the guides told us, and yet we have no way of discerning their true intent. There are things here that must be defended. A resident within the walls for a year is not something we could condone.
Oh, for a year. All right. But
There's that piece of information you didn't have. But yes. And besides, they were clearly somebody of great magical power. What they could
Yeah,
read
they're the
within this
elder.
temple. No, that's our eldest. But yeah, sure. They were the elder. Yes, that's correct. Sorry.
What
I
is-
yeah,
well, I meant
yeah, yeah.
like
No,
they're
you're
the
right.
elder
You're
of the
right. They
giant.
were, yeah.
What exactly is so important in this temple.
That is
needs-
not your business unless Juriel decides otherwise. I'm sure you will speak to the priests in time, but what is necessary for you to know is that somebody of that magical power could read beyond our defenses. And if they discovered what we are hiding, then we would be at risk.
What you are hiding?
They have a secret.
Hiding.
Hiding, protecting, keeping away from the rest of the world, yes.
Okay,
is our
those are
purpose,
very
yeah.
different words that have very different meanings.
Honestly.
Do you... Well, he is literally telling you. He's hiding it from you. He's not telling you what it is. He's not telling you where it is. He's not telling
No,
you
he
what
said
it
he's
is.
hiding it from the world.
Yeah, that's
That it is.
That's a very, like...
That's ominous.
that's what
Yeah.
Glacius was getting on. He's just like, okay,
Whether you are allowed to know the nature of this is up to the priests. But I will tell you that what we did was in defense of the Citadel. Who knows what the next spell would have been. We fired two
Well, unless you have
arrows
a
as
way
a
of-
warning shot. 2 arrows. And the giant cast a spell that killed 3 of my men.
Killed them?
Killed them. Outright, dead, instantly.
Disintegrate.
No. Their bodies were left alive. Left intact, I guess.
so you're telling me that from my understanding, I just want
There
to
we go.
I want to say you were unable to speak to the giant as the guides said the language had changed and so they weren't able to communicate with them.
Correct.
And
we
so
attempted using magic to ascertain the nature of this giant's intent, but we were deflected.
okay. And so
You can take it as they tried to detect thoughts and the creature saved.
yeah, I figured that's
Okay.
what it was. So then you, I'm assuming, tried to communicate that you weren't going to let
They-
him in.
We barred the gates.
Okay.
We closed them.
And so he started casting a spell of some kind. Some of you couldn't
The
draw
first
your
lit
weapons.
them up, and they were a little nervous and went to draw weapons, at which point the second spell was cast and they could not draw their weapons, those who failed the save.
Okay, and so then you fired a warning shot.
2 arrows were shot.
Yep, and you guys fought, which led to the giant dying. And so the idea is that you're willing to go to war with the giants to keep whatever it is in here safe, while the country is also currently trying to fight off the Shadow Veil.
Correct.
And the Fury Guard who help protect you guys at the foot of the mountain are basically taking the brunt of this for you.
Correct. That is
And
our
you're all
mandate.
okay with that.
That
you're-
is our mandate.
You're fine with that.
You're fine with everyone
That
else
which we are
having to deal with
protecting.
problems.
That which we are protecting is worth the lives of every man in that fortress and every man in this fortress.
Ooh, it
Is
must
it-
be good.
If your men were capable of killing the giant, couldn't you have let him in and just monitored him?
The magics that the giant claimed may have allowed them to see through the defenses. After which they would not be allowed to leave. We thought it best to bar them entry than keep them here forever under guard.
Is the thing you're hiding something that would make the giants hostile towards you?
I cannot speak as to the nature of that which we protect.
Oh, you certainly
man-
painted yourself in a corner, haven't you?
Yeah,
Is the,
no wonder
is
the
the
other guy
thing
doesn't
you
like it.
protect a thing or a person?
He's not
I
gonna
cannot speak as to the nature of that which we protect.
Ugh.
Someone slap him on the back. He's stuck on repeat.
Does someone have detect thoughts?
And
Someone does.
You have been inspected, so to speak, as not powerful enough for them to worry about you seeing through the defenses. That being said, you would get the impression that casting a spell in this room would be highly ill-advised.
If Obi has it and also has subtle spell,
Obi
maybe
does
able
not
to
have
get away
detect
with
spells.
it. Damn.
Zavel does, and I'm
Well-
well up for killing him.
Oh yes, that check parts.
clearly, you aren't going to be any more help. So I don't have any more questions unless someone else does.
I'm so glad you interrupted my meditation, Goodness. Are we done?
The
Do you know
fact
when
is that you'll be attacked by the giants for what you've done,
And many will die in the
that's just how
process.
it's going to be.
And
That
your
is
thing
awful.
you're protecting will be lost. You think you can take all of them? 3 men died to 1?
I would assume that we would hold. But if not, there are protocols in place.
Okay. I like your optimism, at least.
Alright.
Alright, let's talk to the next next in line.
Hopefully we can get.
He nods and he
something
literally
out of
just
them.
walks out, and immediately
Yes,
that
yeah.
young priest says, Juriel will see you immediately.
Oh,
She
good.
waits in the lower
Thank
tent.
you. Thank you. Can you lead us?
Now we
You
can
mu-
make some progress.
You must remain behind. And she nods at Amon.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Well, they are.
We're
racist.
okay with that. You're racist.
Do you want Sid will stay there to keep him company?
No,
It
leave
makes
Sid.
no
mine.
difference to us.
Keep an eye on Amon. Make sure he doesn't get lost.
Take us to your leader.
And he leads you downstairs to a small underground garden, sort of. It's like a rock garden. There's
Wow,
a small
so beautiful.
lake, a couple of little waterfalls. And sitting in front of the... oh. There we go. Sitting in front of the waterfall is a lady.
Ooh.
She looks up at you and... Welcome. I'm sorry if your arrival has not been greeted with full hospitality. I'm Shuriel. Please,
One and a
come
half.
in.
Pleasure to meet you.
And you too, Sullivan. I'm sure you have questions. Please,
We
I will
do.
not take offense. Ask what you want.
We've heard lots of contradicting stories of what happened.
That
on
is the nature
day
of men.
The giant came.
When she says men, you do get the impression she's not talking about the male form of people. She's talking about
Yeah.
humanity.
Yes, yes.
Okay, just to be clear, like we had racist upstairs. We're not got sexist in the basement.
Yeah. Yes.
All the way up.
Can you tell us what you know of what happened that fateful day?
Banar and I decided we could not afford to let a giant of such intellectual prowess within the walls. Their powers might see beyond the protections of the temple. Something here is protected that protects the whole of Sogravia from the Shadowhunters.
What is it?
I cannot give you its nature, but I can tell you that you are probably a member of the Dawn Guard. You are right? Is that correct?
I absolutely am.
So you are aware of that which protects teleportation from within and without Sogravia?
Yeah.
Those
Make a
protections
bullshit check.
those protections are maintained by the Magus Arcane. But certain other elements, allowing projection of thought, scrying devices, etc., within and without Australia, those are protected by us. If the location of the protection was revealed to the Shadowhunters, you can imagine the consequences.
Is this thing, is it deep within the mountain?
Sullivan, I believe you have
Yes.
the best intentions, and I
Thank
would
you.
gladly share with you the information, but I'm afraid I do not believe in yours or your party's ability to protect your own minds. That which you are told could be read by others in future. You are not immune to the infiltration of the Shadowhunters. I'm sorry, but the location of the protection cannot be shared with you.
Okay.
I feel like I
What-
just know that this is the moment Obi would raise his hand and be like, I've got a ring of mind shielding.
Yeah, you can tell Opie.
And she would quite honestly tell you that rings can be removed.
I
There is
suppose what I'm
perhaps
get-
one of you that we might share more secrets with, but it require restrictions be placed upon them that perhaps they would not enjoy, so they could not share this information with the rest of you.
Oh, okay. So
Who
Sullivan
is
wouldn't be able
it?
to
It's
tell
you,
us.
Callum.
Oh,
Oh,
You can't be
I
infiltrated.
I like.
I was worried about
Oh
this.
shit! Yeah.
But it does mean a mean firewall.
But it would basically, there'd be preventions in place where you couldn't speak the nature, like you couldn't speak the nature of the sisterhood's leaders.
Right.
These are the
Sister-
protections that people have been putting in place. But she sort of, suffice to say that is what we protect. And for that reason, Vargas was told to refuse entry to the giant.
Well, I suppose
Nothing
the reason,
more.
The reason why I'm asking where it's located within the temple is because the giants want to take back this area and would like everyone to vacate the premises. However, if this thing you're protecting is deep within the mountain, you may be able to hide there, continue protecting it without the giants knowing that you're here.
Even if
then
we did not
We
protect
broke a peace.
what we do protect, the temple here is also sacred to us. We would be more than willing to allow the giants to visit, but not while we're at war with the Shadowhunters.
So, because I always forget, when exactly did the war with the Shadow Veil start?
150 years ago, Sogravia became at war with the Shadowhunters. The Shadowhunters arrived
Sogravia.
about 200 years ago.
Okay, so that means that this was the first cycle in which the giant tried to come up here.
Yeah.
Since this new.
Well, more specifically, she will tell you, this is the first time a giant has tried to visit since the protections were put in place.
Right.
What difference does?
Well, before the protections were in place, they weren't protecting anything.
Well,
Now
I
they're
mean,
protecting
okay,
something of extreme importance.
the reason I was asking that is just 'cause basically that's what I was implying, but then you made it sound like it was something different. So I just wanted to see if it was like, they were always protecting something, but now there's more protections in place or something like that.
We
have
can
a question.
proceed, Ash.
How long have you been protecting this thing? Roughly, you don't have to be exact, but
76 years.
rough. And in 76 years that you knew this approaching giant was coming,
sent emissaries.
nobody thought, did you?
6.
And?
One every 15 years. None of them returned. 3 of them were killed.
By the giants?
Yes. They do not allow any to encroach upon their homeland, as I'm sure you've discovered.
No, actually, we encroached and left peacefully.
Is that so? Then we must
Yeah,
send
don't
another
think we
emissary
get there.
immediately.
Well, hold on, because there's one thing I remember from last time, or when we talked to the giants, which was that specifically it was because we were told that we were not wearing the cloaks of the Furian Guard. Because of that, they were fighting, or they saw them as hostile and they didn't want them coming in.
But why were they
so-
hostile to the Furian Guard before?
They weren't. They weren't, that is, she will say, new hostilities perhaps might have changed that, but the men we sent, they were not in full armor and regalia anyway. They were simple monks in brown robes.
Do we know,
Then-
would the current queen of the giants, would she be reigning at that time?
You don't know when she came to power, but you did see somebody with brown robes.
Well,
Yeah,
When you
like
were
that.
there, when you were inside.
The man who was there?
Mm.
Oh, fudge.
God, what was his name? John?
Philip?
I know the
Kevin?
guy you're talking about.
Matthew?
what a mundane name.
If
it
only
Matt?
I'd called him John!
Not
Was it
John.
Matt? It was Matt.
Was it not John?
No, if you give me one moment, I'll give you his name.
John.
Um,
Am I missing the significance of him right now? Am I missing things?
because
They
he
sent
Apparently an
emissaries
emissary.
every 15 years for 75
Yeah.
years, and she said they were dressed simply in brown robes. That is exactly what he was wearing when he was there, and she said her emissaries disappeared. 2 of them were killed. She doesn't know what happened to the others.
So why is he still there?
That's what we're saying.
Good question.
Josh.
Thank you.
His name won't come to mind. It's not in the notes, Michaela.
Let's just call him John.
I think that's the only
Look,
acceptable
this
name.
is what I have
Jonathan.
in the note. John, human assistant to giants, was buddies with
Oh,
Freddy's
it's just a
grandfather.
it's just a mistyping. It's Jorn, Jorn.
Oh yeah, I
Got
remember
it.
that.
Okay. I was like, I would not have named an NPC John. I know that. I don't give them life names.
Oh my god.
I like how you
Maybe-
said it differently, and to me it still just sounded like John. I
John.
understand now.
John.
But...
What about that? I said it John.
could
Okay, then no, I have no idea who this guy is.
Okay.
could we perhaps say if you sent another one of those emissaries down with us when we go
That was my
there?
suggestion.
I feel
Um,
like it's too late for that.
That is
Well,
very
Asher, we have to try
Their
something.
elder was killed. Reparations must be made.
It's more of a case of because
Do you
This is
think you
trouble.
could buy us some time? 6 months,
we've already
perhaps?
bought-
I
this
think
time.
we currently are buying you time.
If
They
you could
want to attack.
gain us 6 months or so. We
6
could.
months.
6
Put-
months is a big ask.
that is with nothing to.
The
the-
protections on the temple need to be increased if we are to let a giant of that power in.
And it'll take you 6 months.
Unless you can make the Magus Arcane out quicker, it'll take 6 months.
Is there any collateral we could give them so that way they might feel as
Yes.
though
Oh, I love that.
You should return their torch.
Yeah.
well that's a start, yeah.
It'll take all 5 of us to carry that.
It can be made to be carryable by you. Some of our priests have the magic to change the weight.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
How long will it last though? Real question.
I know, we're just halfway down the road.
Until
Oh my
until
God.
one of the giants dispel the magic upon it.
Nice.
Okay.
Great.
I suppose that could help.
That would probably be a good
I'm-
start, but
I would be willing to try anything to buy time.
The giants are
question
not our
is-
enemies.
I just don't know how long we can buy. I would like to avoid anything untoward happening at all.
Must offer something else. Though you may think badly of me for suggesting it. The man who ordered the killing of the giant.
Oh no.
oh hell yeah.
I
I'm sure they would love that.
That thoughty.
That with their torch. I think that's enough collateral for them.
Corius is a mighty warrior. You will not be able to return him to the giants alive.
Hold up.
You're saying we should kill him here and now.
I
Wait a
doubt that
minute.
is within your power. But
How spicy this angel is.
Sorry.
Hold on,
Who
someone-
did you just
she's
say
basically
ordered it?
offering you Vargas's head.
Right. Perfect.
I think that
I love
didn't
it.
we talk and ask and they said that if you brought us like the head of the person who killed it, they said they would consider being more lenient with their like with
I
what
believe they
allow.
actually asked for the heads of every person within the temple, but
That's too many heads.
200, you
Too many
know.
heads.
we
What
can't
diff?
we can't carry 200 heads, okay?
I'm sure they've got the magic to facilitate that. but no.
Unless we put
Seriously.
200 heads in the giant horn.
She is not
straight up
offering
or
her
down.
own head.
No,
No, I wouldn't ask her
I like
for
how
it
you
anyway,
said, I'm
Jesus.
sure they have the magic to do it. Like, they're gonna give us the magic to lighten their heads after we cut them off.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no,
That
I
is even
think
the discussion is just fucking mind-boggling.
Before
it's not. Is it what I'm
before this deal is struck, though, you must also speak with Bernard.
Would you be able to aid us in this?
And speaking with Bernard,
No. No,
The other
stop it.
thing.
he's only
no.
upstairs.
Yes,
In the
please help us with
murder
that.
of your comrade.
That would be up to Bernard, not to me. I can offer you the torch. But
Sullivan feels very conflicted with this because on one hand, yes, it could, you know, give us some time or give them some time to increase their defenses, and then they can come if the giants would be willing to do that. But also, Sullivan kind of feels like this is kind of deceitful to be like sneaking around,
Oh
like
hell yeah, it is. Sullivan.
creating
Let's
this
go.
murder of this guy that you just met to then approach him and be like, off with your head. Like Sullivan's very like.
It is.
Yeah, murder begetting murder.
An eye for an eye, baby.
One man's life is worth it for
To
peace.
save many,
Vargas
potentially.
can be a difficult man, but he would give his life willingly if he knew it was for protection of the...
Yes, the cart
I
problem.
suppose that would make it different if he different for Sullivan. It would make it different for him if he was to like, I guess willingly, but it still leaves a weird taste in his mouth.
Why are you tasting it, bro?
I like batteries for a hobbit.
The fact is, at the moment, if we do nothing, the giants will attack, and eventually one of them could very well get to what you're protecting.
Could you perhaps take the torch and offer the man? If they do not find the torch sufficient?
Well, if I
A
remember
lot of
correctly,
back and forth.
Well, if I remember correctly, we were already asked to, at the very least, get the torch. So, also then being like, here's the guy who killed, the
Well, she's saying,
current
could you go back and
shamans,
not offer the man at first and see what their response is and say that they just want 6 months and explain the reasons?
Yeah.
She's saying, could you keep the diplomacy going basically long enough to buy them the time anyway?
But I've also got a date in 4 days.
That's so
Sullivan.
weird.
We are trying to
Get
stop
out.
the end.
Your travel could
Trying to
also be
stop-
made a little more expedient.
Oh, now we're talking.
See, alright, now
What's your plan?
I have some devices that would enable you to fly. I would request their return at the end of your mission.
Of course.
Sure.
absolutely.
Alright, guys.
Finally.
We'll go do this part, and then we won't come back up, and we'll just fly away.
Oh my god. no.
Let's just leave
Let's not.
Sogravia. Just fly out of the country.
Shadowhunters blasting off.
Oh my god.
Never to return.
Oh no.
Looks like we're blasting off away.
Oh, please let it be rocket boots for everybody.
Then we'll just
Oh.
find out that they cease working as soon as you leave the mountain range.
Yeah, just
Flying like 800 feet up and be like, something is
like
going weird.
Like the carts in the parking lot when you go out the range.
Just lock up.
Bro, I hated that so much when I worked at a place that had that.
Oh,
Because they would always
tell me
stop
about
like
it.
right at the door. And we have to come and unlock the wheels so you can take them out. It's just
Yeah.
annoying.
What a hassle. God have mercy.
Anyway,
So, about this guy with the glowing nips. Is anyone opposed to killing him morally besides Sullivan? Now,
Well, we don't
Callum.
care.
It's very on brand.
I can only say that if it is required that one must die to save many, then what more can we do? I would rather not, but if such is the way, then what can we do?
He was a dick, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I would-
Okay.
say also rather not. However, I think if what they're protecting is this important, then I can't imagine he wouldn't be willing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, I do agree
Yeah,
with
I'm
that.
hoping he's willing. It makes it easier.
So I do have a
So
question.
you're planning to, so we're planning to inform him of this plan and not spring it on him.
You must speak
Well,
with
fir-
Benar first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, first things first, we gotta talk to Benar, and then we have to go to the Giants and see if that is an acceptable form of payment. We don't want to just kill the guy and then
Yeah,
they're just like,
she will.
"We
She
don't
is
want
not
that."
suggesting that you kill him before discussing it with them.
Okay.
we
Alright,
just
then.
kill him, come back down. They're like, we didn't want that. What are you doing?
Oh my
Alright,
God,
let's
yeah.
not get too hasty then.
Still, I think he's rather tasty.
So I do have a question for you, Juriel, if I may.
Please speak.
I don't know if this is something you could answer without explaining any of its nature.
Speak your
So
question.
if this is not
I will answer if I can.
James is just like, get on with it.
considering the
Even she
importance
is
of this
impatient
thing-
with you.
considering the importance of this thing, do you have a contingency? Is there a way to get this thing to someplace else, or is this very much not an
Good
option?
question.
There are protections in place.
Oh my goodness! If I hear someone say that one more time.
There are
last time they said
protections in place.
protocols. This time it's protections.
All right, let's go talk to Bernard.
Come on, Bernie.
Bernard's upstairs.
Yeah, I would have hoped the Magus Arcane would have at least been willing to provide more help, but it seems.
The Magus Arcade
Really, that
always
surprises you?
always offer as much help as possible when their administration finally gets around to doing it.
Which
But
is
if
once
we-
every 100 years
about
or so.
But if we
Yeah,
say the words
exactly.
big magical artifact, they might be interested.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
but
always
they'd be more interested in like.
It's a
Someone
small
just got
child.
murdered.
Yeah, it's my little sister in her room next door. Don't worry about it.
Oh wow, that was scary.
Darth, like, don't pay any attention to what you just heard.
No. What's the name of the guy we said we're gonna kill? It was him.
Rocket
Yeah.
Thunderdown.
Varga.
Yeah,
Everything is all coming up
I keep him in my
raucous.
closet. I keep him in my closet just in case.
Alright.
Yes.
Shit. All right. So,
Could you be
Bernard.
boy?
He's gonna be.
The
able to-
acolyte will lead you to Bernard.
Thank you.
She gestures
Oh,
towards the
gosh.
young man who's been showing you round and such.
Thank
What's
you for
his-
speaking.
As-
As
Did we
you,
get his name?
you did not get his name, and as you look at him, you will note that he looks a little like her.
Whoa. Is that your mom?
Did you just turn around and ask him that? And she sort of, it's my grandchild.
Oh wow.
Aw.
Wow.
Right, you
You're
look
kidding me.
like
Wait a
Ray.
minute. You've got an adult grandchild. Oh my goodness.
He appears to be about 30 years old.
Callum pulls out a picture of his grandchild.
I'm just imagining you pull out a picture. It's just like gears.
Yeah.
Children and grandchildren
Oil
is what
can.
we seek to protect the world for.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope
That's
you
what
always
it's
live a
all
long and healthy
about.
life.
Aasimar don't crack.
The acolyte will see you out.
Good for her age.
I know.
She is looking
Alright.
unnatural. She
Yeah.
doesn't look like everybody else you've seen here. She is looking
That's
unnatural.
probably a secret goddess.
How bizarre.
Please. The acolyte will show you the way.
Thank
She
you for
gestures
your
with
time.
Thank you.
Said
Alright.
acolyte will lead you upstairs into what I can only describe as a gaudy office. White marble and gold is more in place here than anywhere else in the temple. A huge, heavy, full metal sword, not flaming sword, is placed on the wall behind the man who sits at the desk. The man who sits at the desk has his sort of plain white robe on. He looks
Oh.
middle-aged at best. He is not winged, and as he sort of sees you, he nods. And, please, come in.
Does he have one colour eye different to the other?
Hexachromia
No, he has one eye and one.
or hetero.
It's not real.
Oh, okay.
He has a
Oh,
he has a
he has-
large glass eye.
He has the Baldur's Gate fake eye.
The
Just
ersatz
understood.
eye, it's known as, yes.
Cool.
Oh,
And he's called the eldest. God.
He doesn't look particularly old.
Yeah, I
No,
was about
no
to
one
say.
He gestures for
No.
you to take a
He's
seat. There is
middle-aged.
one chair.
I will stand.
I will stand.
Stand next to the chair, to be specific.
I'll stand on
So.
the chair.
You've come to
Several,
speak
you
on
can
behalf.
take the seat.
He sort of
Yeah,
looks
you
around
read
to you and
it.
he says, "So, you've come on behalf of
So.
the giants, have you?
We have
Do they beg for mercy?
no,
No.
Oh, so you're
of course not,
too.
and I feel like you know them.
Do they require our surrender?
They would either
Basically.
require you vacating the premises.
That is not possible.
They would also approve of you returning their horn and possibly
course.
the head.
The torch should be returned
of
as long as
um,
somebody can get it there without being killed on the way.
the nipply guy. The head. Of
You want
the
Vargas,
nipple man.
Vargas's head?
Well,
Was he
hold
not
on,
the
hold on.
one?
Is
who
death the
killed-
only thing these giants trade in?
That is not.
Well.
They didn't specifically ask for that. No.
And then who did?
It-
Whose suggestion? Is this your suggestion?
No, they did suggest it. They seek revenge for the murder of their giant.
And then we will seek revenge upon them, and they will seek revenge upon our children, and our children will seek revenge
Well,
upon
not
their
if you
grandchildren.
agree.
Not if you break the cycle.
The cycle is broken by no more killing.
Oh, so after you do the killing, then you call no more
The
killing.
giant
I see how
should
it
never.
is.
The giant should never have died.
Agreed.
Agreed. We can all agree on that.
However, that decision was made, and it did happen.
Was it a decision? Or was it the worst misunderstandings?
How do you misunderstand murdering someone?
Oh no, my knife is inside you.
Must I remind you that 3 men died before the giant did? What were the men to do but retaliate? And of course things escalated.
Well, just because... No, 2 bongs do not make a right.
Are you telling me that if I was to kill 3 of you, 4 of you would not attack me? Is that
Yes.
not the
I
way
would-
that it
Depends on the
goes?
3.
I think you're asking the wrong person, because I am a full believer in jail and not an eye for an eye, so...
And yet you would seek to defend yourselves if you're attacked, would you?
You are asking the wrong person
Defend
because I
yourself
would
does
attack
not...
you.
Defend yourself does not mean, you know, reciprocate.
And yet,
Reciprocal
slay-
force.
you slayed a demon but 3 or 4 days ago, did you not?
That we did.
Yeah.
Did we? Oh yeah, we did do that.
Did you
We
offer
did.
it jail time, son of a...
It didn't.
You know that is so different. No, okay, Sylvan doesn't talk like
What of the
Actually-
man? What of the bandit leaders that you fought? Did you offer them
Which ones?
Rocker Thunder and his men?
Oh, you mean the
That
Shadow
guy.
Veil that we killed? Yeah.
Not the Shadowveil. All of the others who were not Shadowveil who were there, who you killed.
That's also different.
Wait, how do you know
Why
about
is it?
that?
Why is it different, son?
They're
Um,
spies.
I'm very quickly losing the moral high ground
Sullivan,
because this is D&D and
It's not
we
different.
just kill.
All I'm saying is that the men seek to defend themselves. They fought for their lives, and many of them died in that battle. Well,
But so
Many
too could we
in-
argue that the giant was defending himself as well.
yes, arrows aren't usually an efficient form of warning. I will give you that. There is no questioning that Vargas erred that day, and greatly. But the mistakes of one man should not lead to a war. Nor should they lead to his death. Yeah.
I agree. It shouldn't lead to a war, and I think it's fair to say all of us absolutely do not want to see that come to pass. It's, as you understand,
If the giants
why we are
require
here
our
and doing what we
evacuation,
do.
then they will have a war on their hands.
Juriel suggested that you may approve of him.
Of you offering Vargas?
Yes.
I'm assuming
Which
she
is-
didn't tell you that he's my son.
Oh my god, what is wrong with these
Drama,
people?
drama.
Okay,
Jesus.
Those of us in power usually raise our
So
children
he's
into
a
positions
nepo
of power.
baby.
Yeah, don't you just love
Hold
nepotism?
on, hold on. So, the idea of
Please, Gracious, a moment.
What?
Return the torch. If they seek reparations still, you may offer Vargas. He
We
would go
don't,
willingly.
just to be clear, we don't want it to come to that.
Neither do I.
Juriel said that with the thing that you can't speak of, what you're protecting here, that he may volunteer if that means protecting him.
He would.
We don't want
If I
to
asked
kill
him to.
him. I want to make that very clear.
He smiles as sort of as if to say, you wouldn't be the ones who had to kill him.
Okay, fine, we don't want you to kill him. We don't want him to die. It's just a blanket statement.
we're
What I
Pro
would do
no
to
death.
say no more.
Yeah.
from-
Apart from those bandits.
and that demon and
How long did Juriel ask for?
6 months.
6 months to increase your protection, and then the giants may be allowed to come to perform their ritual.
Buy me 6 months. Please. I don't care
We'll
what
do
it
what we
takes.
can.
If you can preserve the life of my son, do so. But
We
know
will-
this.
We
If the
want that to
giants
be last.
attempt to enter the temple before that time is up, each and every one of them will die.
No comment.
Noted.
I think it's best.
We'll deliver that word for word.
Are we still keeping an emissary down with us?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You may return to Juro.
One question though,
Right.
before I go.
Please.
Oh
Why
my
can you
God.
never just ask the question, Jamel? Why do you always have to say you will ask the question?
I went to
Then
I
ask the
interrupted
question.
You, motherfucker.
It's
Okay,
like
ask the
Columbo.
question.
Okay.
One more question, though.
Just one.
Answer me these questions 3.
Is there any way to speed up the? Is there any way for the sections to be prepared faster, perhaps with extra assistance, or is that not something that can be arranged with, say, I guess Arcane?
I need Novanius.
Who's that again?
He's one of the 3 headmasters of the Mage's Arcane.
Cool.
That is the only way you will speed it up, from what I understand. But Juriel understands more than I do as to the natures of the defense. I merely make the decisions as to who we sacrifice.
Okay.
Please go.
Hopefully
do
we'll
what we
come
can.
to that.
Bye now.
Thank you for your time.
Oh my God.
He nods. The acolyte by the door will lead you back down to Juriel.
Juriel, you didn't say it was his son.
No. That was for him to reveal or not.
I mean, you could have said he was your great grandson, and maybe we wouldn't have put 2 and 2 together.
Great grandson? What?
Wait, what?
But she
Oh.
was.
Her grandson is the acolyte who's been leading you around. Vargas
gotcha.
is Banar's son.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that, to be fair, that doesn't
Juriel and
change the fact.
Barnes in a tree.
I will
That
put
doesn't-
Banar's son in this one for you.
Yeah. That doesn't change the fact
Nipples
that it was
McGee
still
over
him.
here.
Yeah, it doesn't change the fact that Nipples McGee still killed the giant. So if the giants wanted to reprimand, he would still be the one, regardless of whose son he was.
Yeah.
You might think less of Banar if he would send his son to die for the cause. Or more, perhaps. I don't know. It was for him to reveal or not.
Very well.
You will take an emissary and the torch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody
By what
not
time we
in
can.
Turian Guard.
She looks to the young acolyte and it is time.
Oh, you're cool.
You may reclaim your name.
Oh, he
Reclaim?
did.
He has been
What do
the
you-
acolyte for 2 years.
Oh,
Nothing
okay.
else. He has not had a name.
Aw, it's his
And
John.
no, it's Marcus.
Marcus
Thunderdome? I have come here. Revenge, motherfucker.
His name is Marcus, not Rockus.
Alright,
okay.
Marcus.
And
That is your real name.
she will. She smiles, and he will tell you that it wasn't his name when he came here. It will be his name now.
Like a
Naming
like a
ceremony.
Nobody
Morning.
calls their child Juriel or Vargas.
I don't know. People name
If you
their
have
son
lofty
Justice and
aspirations.
Regal, so you never know.
That's a different campaign, though. But yes, she will
Marcus
also.
is just a regular guy name.
Yeah, she will also gesture towards a large cupboard, where you will receive. Oh, I didn't mean to ping a picture. I meant to ping the item.
I mean, we'll take
Angel
both.
wings of flying.
Wow.
You may each add these to your inventory.
When
Hell
Glacius
yeah.
touches his, do they turn black?
Please
And
tell me they
like-
do. That would be sick as hell.
No.
Wow.
8 pairs will be retrieved, and then she sort of looks to you and you call them Sid?
Yeah.
Do they require assistance?
No. Sid already has built-in rocket boots. But thank you.
She nods, and perhaps this might aid if nothing else, and she will give you 4 potions of speed. As I believe that Sid's flying speed is half that of the wings. I think he's only got a 30-foot flying speed, and everybody else has a 60.
I didn't even look at it, honestly.
So you don't want to leave him behind. I believe a potion of speed will double his movement speed.
Oh, yeah, you're so right. Thank you.
That's all right. And she nods.
What if you
Ellen was too proud to say.
And then she looks at you and, would you perhaps like to witness the silver side of the Furin God? A ceremony is required before my grandson can leave.
I'd love that. To be truthful, our interactions with the Fury Guard haven't always been very pleasant.
I don't know.
That surprises me not in the slightest.
That's not true, Sullivan. You just were on the outside of those rituals.
The evils that men can do in the name of good are astounding, are they not? Well, and she sort of gives a double clap, and there's an echoing bell somewhere. And 3 priestesses come out, including Olivia, who you met earlier, and 2 others, all in white robes. Marcus is brought to the pool of water at the centre. He loses his brown robe and is just wearing very simple clothing underneath. And he sort of almost crouches in the water so that he is immersed up to the neck. And Juriel begins mouthing words very, very quietly. You can't really make out any of the individual syllables, even those of you who speak Celestial, but you do know she is casting some sort of magic.
Oh, she's probably casting the ceremony spell.
And as she casts, after a short while, a pillar of flame comes down from the roof on top of Marcus, bathing him completely.
Get wings.
Steam comes out from the outside of the water, and you hear him actually cry out in pain. And after a while, you can see there's a single tear dropping from Juriel's face as she tells him to rise. And the pillar of flame disappears, and he indeed does have wings.
A single tear, how dramatic.
My loss is the gain of the entire Furin Guard. Welcome. He looks incredibly proud. She looks devastated. Please, come back to me. She looks at you, and you mentioned one of the emissaries that you found.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell them to
Can you
come
remind us
home.
their names?
Sorry, what was that?
She reels off 6 names, none of which you recognize.
Okay.
No,
None of them are Jorn. No.
None of them are John.
Now, also, do you remember Jorn told you that he's been alive a long, 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 long time?
Yeah.
You get the impression that maybe all of the emissaries were her grandchildren.
Oh.
So Jorn is not one of them.
You wanna know a John?
Fucking hell.
She shakes her head and, well, if you can find out what happened to the rest.
Of course.
Good luck.
Wait, didn't we see skeletons in a cage? I want to say.
I think we
That's...
did.
You saw skeletons in a cage, but it was sure as hell nothing to do with the giants. They were the Furian Guard had hung them up.
Oh, okay.
Outside the Citadel. Yeah. You saw 2 men in the cage that you released. As yet, you have not
really
witnessed
funny.
the giants do anything even slightly violent.
Yes.
It'd be really funny plot twist that it was the Fury
But
Guard
as you
all
are
along.
released with wings to report to and fro between the giants and the Furin Guard, we will not live out the journeys between any longer.
Beautiful.
Thank the Furian Guard.
But we will
Fuck
sort
that.
of switch from one to the other and back. But we won't do that today. We will do that another session because this is where we will end.
Did we level
Or
up?
get a sheep, perhaps.
Why do you always have to ask? Why can't you sometimes wait and see? Perhaps he
a
might
very
not have got
impatient
wings.
person.
You didn't know if he was going to get wings. You could have waited and found out. Think it, don't say
Because
it.
I like guessing.
You would have leveled up, but as you asked, you can wait.
Got him.
Everybody else gets a level up.
You are indeed
Everyone else
now
gets a feat.
level 11.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, seriously? I thought you were joking.
Yes, progress has been made.
Love that for me.
Yay.
Awesome.
And we
Thank
come
you,
to the
James.
timeless tradition of MVPs. I will come first to... I'll come to Josh first.
I really liked the like just the whole interaction with everyone at the temple, like the whole like ridiculously waiting for Nipply McGee.
Does
then, like,
does it kill
and-
you to just open the tab that says
the-
Furion Guard in the
Oh, no,
but
handouts
it's
on
funny,
the right?
So many
James.
steps.
It's literally handouts NPCs Furion Guard. There's a list of their
See
names
how
right
many
there.
steps
Vargas,
there is,
Banner,
and then I have
Juriel,
to
Chorus.
find him. It's a lot.
Leave it
Anyway,
on the
yes,
screen.
Vargas. Everyone knows who I'm talking about.
That's
Yeah,
true,
but...
you do.
It's true.
Hey?
Okay, fine.
You do know it's
Um,
Nipple McGee.
Vargas. Yeah, I really like that, and then the contrast between him and Juriel was really nice. I also really liked the moment with the sword. It was kind of like we all had our own lightsabers. Like, ooh, what's colours people are gonna get?
I got smoke.
Yeah, Buff of Smoke, otherwise known as a failure, yeah. Alora, your MVP.
I'd have to give it to the joint. His name is Marcus. Marcus Thunderdown.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I like that.
That was
That
so
pretty
quick,
good.
and it was in unison.
Yeah, it was an odd quick. I don't quite know why Marcus and Rockus are the same name, but whatever.
It was close enough.
Yep, Jamal.
The big thing is how much I'm looking forward to next session. Like the way you've built this up, it's really interesting, enjoyable, and I'm loving diving into this story.
thank you.
It's
Good.
I think as far as campaigns go, this segment is bloody brilliant, and I'm really enjoying it. But I do have to give a quick one here to I'm just a box. I don't need sleep.
Yeah, I'm just a box. I love that line. Duff.
I really like, because something I've noticed is that as we've gotten more sessions, Glacius and Callum are getting closer and closer together. I just imagine, especially when I was just like, oh yeah, you were on the outside of that ritual, you don't know what it was like. I just imagine Callum and Glacius are like two frat bros in fraternity.
They
and being
are
like,
dudes.
They're totally dudes. But also, I did really like everything at the temple. I liked all of the, as much as funny as it is, the jokes about Glacius just like, when he touches this angelic thing, does it just burst into flames? I still love that.
The one thing you wanted it to do was burst into flames, and it's the one thing it didn't do.
Exactly. Like, what the hell? Okay, but I'm pretty sure I'm still lawful good. No, I'm neutral good. Alright, it's going down. I don't know when that changed, but...
Michaela, your MVP.
Oh yeah, well, going off of what Darth just said, when we said it was gonna explode in his hands, and then it like actually did when Zavril grabbed it, was so funny to me. But mainly my MVP was like the discussion between the party while we were waiting in the room about the whole temple situation, like, you know, how like everyone was kind of in the wrong, but also that doesn't make what they've done right, and just I don't really know what's gonna happen or where it's gonna go from there.
Definitely
so,
something.
I am looking forward to also hearing Obi's opinion on the situation.
Definitely, yeah. I can't wait to see what Matt has to say about it. I will say that
Yeah.
the conversation in that room was really enjoyable for me as well. I also really like the fact that you guys are going, oh, we don't know where it's going to go next. Neither do I. I know what happened, right, between the Giants and the Furin God. But I have no idea how you
love
make
it.
this right. I have no idea what you guys attempt to do. I have no idea, who you believe and who you don't believe and who you agree with and who you don't agree with and how that affects the campaign and proceeds. And that's a huge amount of joy for me as well, to be able to just lay down the building blocks and let you guys build the tower, right? So I really enjoyed that. I have a couple of small MVPs. I really enjoyed Jamal's multiple one more questions.
As always.
I love it when Aman spoke for the first time. You guys said silence back there. That was equally brutal. I loved that Michaela flew up to see what was going on, realized she couldn't make a survival check, so Ashwin walked up a wall to join it. That was particularly good. The 2 on the deception check for Glacius, trying to pretend that it was just a coincidence that this dragon is following, this bone dragon is following you.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence.
Oh, we can fly now. Go kill it.
Yeah, let's go. Battle in the sky.
Wow.
Yeah, I think, however, I really enjoyed the interaction between you guys and Juriel specifically. Because everybody else had either been a bit confrontational or at least had their own opinions or were quite firm in it. And I love that you immediately gathered that Juriel wanted to cooperate. And it was like you guys had been waiting for the voice of reason to turn up and then immediately changed your tune. So I really enjoyed that side of things. As for a card...
I mean, Sullivan.
No. It's Darth. For the salad that you placed in the bowl.
Oh,
in
I
memory
completely forgot
of
about
Jay's character. That really, it was
That's
a
sweet.
touching moment that I really enjoyed. So that is where our card is going. We are going to take a break for the Christmas period. But you can expect us back hopefully on the 30th of December. Until then, if you guys would like to say goodbye.
Bye.
Catch you later.
It goes for me to say thank you very much to Salty Tech Ford for returning to the Quack Pack after 11 months. And welcome into our newest viewer, Covert Psyop. Thank you very much for the follow and welcome to the Duck Pond. We shall